Looking for photography tips, inspiration, ideas, or anything about film? Well, you've come to the right place. Born in Film and Photo Nation present Film Factor Podcast. Follow us on our social platforms at Born in Film on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
welcome you now to your regularly scheduled program.
When your camera is made by Kodak, you know it's good.
Tonight, I'd like to show you one of the world's great cameras.
Tonight, I'd like to show you a new idea in picture taking.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up.
I see the picture in my mind's eye, and I give it to you as the equivalent of what I saw and felt.
We choose to go to the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We will never forget that we are analog human beings.
My job is to be authentic.
We all love stories. We're born for them.
Coming to you live from Stratobox Studios in Manila, Philippines.
Mass at 4 a.m. for 9 straight days.
Singing carols in Tagalog, or well, trying to.
Enjoying festive treats such as puto bongbong and bibingka.
Picking out parols,
which have been on sale since September. Yep, that's the Philippines for you. Christmas from September to January pretty much.
You know the season starts once you hear Jose Marie Chan songs everywhere. It seems like more than any other holiday, Filipinos just absolutely love Christmas. Not just because of the vibrant lights.
The get-together with loved ones. The amazing food that is served. The conversations and laughs along the way. Or even the generous gifts.
All of these play their part in creating amazing memories every single year.
Above all, Filipinos just love to give love.
Maligayang Pasko sa inyong lahat.
Hey guys, welcome back to Film Factor Podcast. My name is Franz. Tonight, we are back with Born in Film on air. Again, we're live simulcast on Facebook Live, IGTV, and YouTube. So for our friends who are here, happy Sunday! The hotline is now up. Don't forget to ring us on Viber at 63921-408-8898 or just simply scan this QR code. We will be accepting questions and greetings for our guests later. Again, that's 63921-408-8898. Also, we have a new feature tonight, which is the live polls where you can vote live on the podcast. Real time yan. You can see it above my screen. Again, the question for tonight is, do you think the surge in online content will diminish or grow bigger post-pandemic? All you need to do is scan this QR code and it will redirect you to our voting page. But before we begin, again, we would like to thank each of you for being a huge part of this passionate community. We now have 8,600 members across 101 countries. We are now only 1,400 away to our next goal, which is 10,000 members worldwide. not too long ago, began a series of live podcasts within Photo Nation. The very first one we aired on April 5, where we talked about the importance of printing with Alvin Lee. From there, we met photographers like Australian marine life photographer Darren Ju from the Tales by Light series on Netflix, and Nikola Kostic, a passionate photographer from Belgrade, Serbia. We jumped from landscape photography with Fitz Bore to the life of expat photographers with Arnold Apostol in Singapore. We also talked about women and the things they go through as photographers with Alex Oncal, a Filipino photojournalist, Inbal Christina, a concept photographer from Israel, and Tran Hong Young, a Vietnamese nude photographer. All of these episodes can be seen on both our YouTube and Facebook page. They're also on Spotify. Just search for Film Factor Podcast. New episodes are updated every Monday afternoon, that's Philippine time, and early morning East Coast and West Coast US time, as well as afternoon European time. If you miss an episode, do check them out later. We have replays every Monday. This quarantine, most of us have been binge-watching films on streaming platforms to pass our time. This includes Netflix, HBO Go, YouTube, and more. All thanks to the creative filmmakers, it keeps us entertained and sane in times of uncertainty. Tonight, we will be joined by some of the best filmmakers in the country to share inspiration to the young creatives out there. Let's all watch this.
Portraits have always been what's interesting to me.
I'm happy to greet this gathering of motion picture engineers.
Art is photography, sharing, taking what you see and sharing it with others.
Don't be afraid. Get out there, shoot some film. I think Photo Nation can be a catalyst.
Photography is united.
Again, we're a live simulcast on Facebook Live, IGTV, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow the page, join Photo Nation, and hit subscribe. On the lineup tonight, we have JP Habac, the director of Gaya sa Pelikula, a web series, as well as I'm Drunk, I Love You, a 2017 indie film, together with Satti Ombao, a part-time faculty for film and television at the Colegio de San Juan de Letran. She also studied in Film Conservatory at the New York Film Academy. And last but definitely not the least, we have Ryan Audencial, creative director of Cuatro Indios Productions. He also has a YouTube channel where he gives tutorials and advice for aspiring filmmakers. Well, let me get you on screen. And there we go. Good evening, everyone. Kamusta po? Kamusta po kayo? Again, we have Miss Satti. We have Ryan Audencial and Mr. JP, si Direct JP Habac. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I think you're on. Yan. Can you hear me? Yan.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, great.
Yes.
So yun, just to dive into it, please introduce yourself, what you do, and if you can describe filmmaking into one word, what would it be? Siguro maybe we can begin with Miss Satti. Go ahead, Satti.
Hi, my name is Satti Ombao. I am an educator and at the same time I am a producer. How do I describe film in one word? Film for me is about perception. It's looking at someone's idea of something, whether it be a story, whether it be an idea, just the main idea. That is what filmmaking is to me. It's a constant shift of perspective.
Wow, constant shift of perspective. And maybe you can hear from Ryan Audencial. Go, Ryan.
Hello, I'm Ryan Audencial. I'm a creative director sa Cuatro Indios Productions. I'm also a segment producer and a floor director sa TV5 Sports, primarily PBA and other international sporting events dito sa Pilipinas and of course abroad. For me, filmmaking in one word, siguro passion. No? Parang I don't know. Tinanong mo ba to kagabi sa briefing natin? Nagulat ako. But yeah, passion. it's for me it's passion, no? Kasi passion is something that you really love doing, diba? So I love filming or filmmaking, and so that's it.
And Direct JP, go ahead.
Ayan. Hello, good evening. I'm JP Habac. I'm a freelance director and writer. Kung i-describe ko ang filmmaking in one word, expensive.
Expensive. Para lahat tayo in agreement. go ahead.
Kasi nasabi na ni Satti tsaka ni Rai. Doon na lang ako sa practical muna. Expensive.
Tama. Yun. And then, ito, yung sunod natin na question. In each of your fields, yun nga, si Satti is into education, si Ryan is into creative content, and then si Direct JP is into making films. In each of your fields, what is the state of filmmaking and how badly has this pandemic affected it? Maybe we can begin naman with Direct JP. Go ahead.
Yung state ngayon ng filmmaking, well, yung industry talaga, ang film industry, ang isa sa pinakamalaking naapektuhan ng pandemic. Kasi, di ba, on location na halos lahat ngayon, kapag nag-shoot ng films or mga TV productions, so yung industry natin, yung pinakamalaking naapektuhan in this pandemic. And slowly, bumabangon yung industry with the help of the Interguild Alliance. So, for the past months, nakabuo yung people from different departments ng may mga guilds ng mga cinematographers, scriptwriters, directors, assistant directors and script supervisors, actors, yan. So nagkaroon ng mga guilds. Tapos itong mga guilds na to, nagkaisa sila to para gawin para mabuo itong Interguild Alliance. So with the help of the Interguild Alliance, sila yung nag-set ng mga safety protocols para safe na. Kasi mahirap kapag, di ba, kailangan priority talaga natin ang safety ng bawat isa on set.
Right.
Like, actually, dapat matagal na natin dapat matagal ng priority ang safety kahit walang pandemic, kahit walang lockdown. But thankfully, we have these people na nag-initiate para matulungan yung mga film workers na makabalik on set safely. Ayun, pero yung state natin ngayon kasi wala talaga tayong walang certainty kung ano bang mangyayari sa atin after this. Diba? Hindi natin alam kung babalik pa tayo sa old normal, which I doubt. No? Kasi hindi tayo yung other progressive countries na may progressive na officials para tulungan tayo with in this pandemic. So, ayun, ako personally hindi ko pa sure kung ano mangyayari sa atin ano mangyayari sa industry after this. Well, may mga teams na, may mga studios na, may mga production houses na nagsisimula ng gumawa ulit ng mga films, ng mga TV series. Pero syempre, limitado pa rin yung pinupuntahan na platform kasi wala pa tayong sinehan ngayon. Dahil hindi pa nga safe bumalik. No? So, ayun, ang pinaka-safe na platform para maipalabas yung mga contents natin ay online talaga. So, with the platforms like Netflix, YouTube, etc. So, yeah.
Very well said from Direct JP. Ikaw naman, Direct Ryan, go ahead.
For me, there are two sides kasi. I am a content creator and I'm also in media, nasa TV din ako.
Right.
But if I'm going to talk about dun sa mas dapat kong dahil nga yun ang pagpapakilala sa akin dito, I am a content creator. So ang feeling ko, ang state ng filmmaking sa content creation, ngayon naglabasan yung mga aspiring filmmakers, no? Kasi of course, ang ano natin, ang mga tao ngayon sa ganitong estado ay napunta lahat ang attention sa social media, no?
Right.
And alam naman natin yung power ng social media, napakalakas. So siguro nakapanood sila ng someone or mga videos na makakapag turo sa kanila ng mga new skills, no, rather than studying hindi academics. Wala kasing school na free siya at for a time, but yun nga, nakapanood sila ng videos na, uy, cool to, may mga transitions, may mga kung ano-anong color grading and stuff, no. I can say na medyo tumaas yung kahiligan ng mga I'm talking about mga
online content,
mga bata dito, mga bata. Aspiring, no. Nagkaroon sila ng mas nahilig sila, no, sa filmmaking, mas naging hungry sila for knowledge, for skills. And hindi ko naman sinasabi na umangat yung estado ng filmmaking pagdating sa content creation, pero I can say na para sa sarili ko, no, ginamit ko itong pandemic na to para sabayan yung trend nga na lahat ng tao nasa social media. So itong si Ryan Audencial, sige, magtuturo ako ng filmmaking while wala pa silang school. Siguro they can do this muna for quite some time, and then siguro ang masasabi ko sa state ng filmmaking sa content creation, medyo dumami, no, yung mga nagsimulang maging content creators. And if you are a content creator, for me, you're also a filmmaker kasi you're dealing with videos, no? You're dealing with these kinds of stuff, no? So that for me is the current state of filmmaking.
Very well said from Ryan. Let's now move on to Miss Satti. Hold on, let me just pin you into screen. Wait. Go ahead, Ma'am Satti.
So for the current state of filmmaking for education is actually very exciting. Even during the start of the pandemic, you've already seen the different international film festivals catering to young filmmakers. They were actually giving free workshops, free seminars all over the world. That was very good, but ang mahirap na part doon for the students is to actually be in action in doing it. We know that filmmaking is not just about the theories, it's actually doing it and actually learning by doing it. So I think I would agree with what Ryan said earlier, that there are a lot of students and a lot of younger people who are interested, but the challenge that they have is to constantly create, constantly fail by themselves, because we as educators can't be there all the time for them. And they all have different constraints. It's not the same as going to film school that you're all in the same boat or with a certain group that you have, but it's really learn by doing by yourself. So what we can do as educators is just there to support. And it's actually nakakatuwa kasi you wouldn't have expected that from the younger generation, especially when they have so many constraints. Most of them haven't left the house since March. Siyempre, hindi rin pinapayagan ng magulang, no? Pero that is our current state. But I truly believe that this current state can evolve a different type of storytelling, which we will be discussing later, I think.
Awesome. And then, in terms of, since we're discussing about filmmaking, kung kayo, you'll be involved in creating a film about this pandemic, ano yung nakikita nyo na gusto nyo mag-focus on? So, I think we can, punta naman tayo muna kay Ryan. Ryan, ikaw, kung if you'll make a movie or film.
If makakapag-produce ako or makakagawa ko ng film about the current state, no, siguro mag-focus ako dun sa kung paano nagsusurvive yung mga yung mga tao, no, sa natin, sa industriya natin. Siguro mag-focus ako dun sa mga kapwa events videographers ko or mga ganyan. Ipapakita ko kung paano nila binenta yung mga gamit nila. Of course, sisimulan mo sa ganun, no, na yung struggle, pero syempre mas gusto ko i-highlight yung pag-angat, no? Yung kung paano nila nalagpasan, although hindi pa naman tapos ito, no? Kung paano lang sila nakapag-cope up after ilang months, no? Siguro doon. Pero yun nga, it might sound na medyo depressing na ganyan, pero mas i-highlight ko siguro yung positive, yung gano'n.
Great. Yan, ganda nung idea ni Ryan. So, maybe we can also ask Direct JP. Ikaw, Direct, what do you see or foresee na pwede mong gawin?
Ayan. Ako, I'm interested in stories ng mga love stories na nabuo during pandemic.
Wow.
Yung mga nabuo or nawasak, ganyan. Mga nag-break during pandemic, yan. I think interesting story siya. Kasi, di ba kasi itong pandemic, it caused a lot of uncertainty in everyone. So, yung uncertainty ng paligid mo, tapos nakaparallel siya dun sa uncertainty ng relationships sa panahon ng pandemic. I think, yun yung gagawin.
Ganda. And nakaka-excite. And Miss Satti, hold on, just pin you into screen. Go ahead. Ikaw naman, what do you siguro ano yung gusto mong pasukin na project probably about?
Gusto kong gawing wait lang. Hello? Ayan. Okay, so kung gagawa ako ng film about this pandemic, I would want to create a documentary. As us being alive right now, being part of this pandemic, we've seen empty streets, we've seen especially the first part of the pandemic, looking at the window, the clouds look different, I would want to create a documentary, not for our generation, but for the future. Kasi we've seen it. But the future ones, hopefully they would never see it that way again. Yun lang.
Ganda. Ganda ng idea. And siguro for this segment, our last question is, what are the trends that you see siguro in the evolution of film festivals? Kasi lahat naman tayo, we're into watching films. Pero kumbaga yun nga sa atin kasi we have what we call MMFF and Cinemalaya and all the other big festivals that we have. Ano yung nakikita nyo na trends that are coming probably after this pandemic? Maybe we can begin with Miss Satti since you're there. Go ahead.
For the local film festivals, especially the big ones like Metro Manila Film Festivals, Film Festival, napapansin ko, there's really a lot of young blood. This has been happening even when JP and I were young, diba? Pero the surge of young blood talaga is like, it's enormous, and especially they're giving opportunities. They made that division for Metro Manila Film Festival. They made that division just for students, wherein students can be a part of it. That's a very good thing. But I think one thing that they have, I understand, like our film festivals are really there to help other people as well. It's not just for the filmmakers, it's also for the communities.
Right.
But I think one thing that we should also start looking into, because I know for a fact that in other countries, it's already a trend, even with local film festivals, not like as big as our film festivals, that they have been investing on tinkering on new technologies. So I think that's probably one that we should be, start looking into. But I am very hopeful with our film festivals. Medyo shaky siya. Pag minsan may indie, pag minsan wala, pag minsan, alam mo yun. Pero I'm very hopeful. And whenever there's new blood, young blood, it's always a good thing for me.
Right. And since you mentioned si Direct JP, maybe we can hear from Direct JP next. Go Direct, what do you see?
Ako, kasi I've been to festivals here and abroad. And yung experience ko with festivals, more than watching films, it's actually meeting new people, meeting fellow filmmakers. Kasi yung industry natin, it works on networks, collaborations. And isa yun for me, isa yun sa mahalagang isa yun sa pinaka-importante na nakakontribute ng film festival sa career ng isang filmmaker, ng isang young filmmaker. And ang nakikita kong trend with this sa mga festivals natin dito like MMFF and Cinemalaya, kasi itong mga festivals nito, for example, yung Cinemalaya, they already ventured online. And ayun, ang kulang lang dun sa experience was, yung meeting fellow filmmakers, meeting the staff and crew, yan. Alam mo yung makakwentuhan mo sila na paano ginawa yung pelikula, alam mo yun? Yun yung kulang kapag online yung festival. But I think habang tumatagal naman, I think makakahanap yung mga film practitioners natin, yung mga workers natin sa film festivals. Makahanap sila ng way para, alam mo yun, makahanap ng way para maramdaman pa rin natin yung same experience ng pag-attend ng mga film festivals.
Okay, very well said from Direct JP. Maybe you can hear from Direct Ryan. Hold on. Let me just...
sabi ni Miss Satti kanina, more on the young bloods. Siguro, hindi man ako young, pero young blood ako pagdating sa mga festivals. No? I'll be totally honest. Hindi pa ako nakapunta or, I mean, hindi pa ako na-involved dyan. No? Pero I'm just a casual viewer or audience. No? I'm trying to be honest here. No? Hindi rin ako masyadong nakasubaybay. Although I love to watch movies and films. Ang nakikita ko lang siguro na trend sa ating festivals, yung mga alam naman natin Cinemalaya is independent, no? Ang MMFF is mainstream. Correct me if I'm wrong, no? Nakikita kong trend ngayon is we are slowly siguro ako lang to, no? We are parang slowly transitioning to be yung mga indie na pupunta na sa MMFF, parang nagmi-mix na sila in a way, no? And I think that's really important, no, para mas ma-appreciate ng mga viewers ng MMFF yung mga nasa Cinemalaya films, and ma-appreciate din lalo ng mga independent film viewers yung mga nasa mainstream movies. Again, there are no hindi ko sila pinagkukumpara, but then yung trend nga na like for example I don't know, no, correct me if I'm wrong, parang itong General Luna parang na-appreciate na ng mga tao lalo, alam mo yun, parang yun yung trend na nakikita ko na nagugustuhan ko din, na parang mas lumalawak na yung pag-intindi natin sa mundo ng pelikula, no? And hopefully sana after nito lalo nating mas ma-appreciate pa yan, regardless kung Cinemalaya man yan or MMFF. We are one filmmaking community. Parang gano'n.
Very well said from Direk Ryan. Ayan. So on that note, we'd like to thank everyone. Wait lang ha. Let me pull you all on the screen. We'd like to thank everyone for your wonderful insights. And also for our viewers, don't forget you may call us later at 639-21408-8898 sa Viber yan. Tapos, please stay with us as we interview our guests one by one after this.
We are a proud generation of visual storytellers, young and old alike, across all gender, beyond ethnicity, thriving in an online community. Built in the Philippines for the world. From the streets of Intramuros to the ringing bells of Chalon-sur-Saône, atop the great mountains of the Himalayas to the deeps of the Great Barrier Reef. Across Asia, Europe, Oceania, Africa, and the Americas, we will tell stories. We are Photo Nation, and the passion will live on.
One of the things that makes anything more enjoyable is being able to share it and being part of a community.
And quite frankly, what I get from Photo Nation is the fact that it's so non-judgmental.
They're so accepting of people, and I like that about Photo Nation, that people are willing to do that.
Photo Nation is hindi lang siya Filipino-based international group. Ano siya, one big happy family talaga siya.
Photo Nation is just one huge family.
I think probably the thing I like the most about Photo Nation is the fact that it's a supportive community, not there to score points.
Photo Nation, a platform that has no bashing.
It's you ask for help, you get help. The best part about Photo Nation is that everyone gets a chance to showcase their stuff. And if you ask, how did you get that? Can you teach me? The people respond and you're like, yeah, I'm actually learning things here.
We all started as a beginner, whether it's you're self-taught or you learn from masters or you learn from YouTube. We should be humble enough to know and to accept that people who are willing to learn, we have to appreciate that because it's actually promoting the hobby or the passion that we love, which is photography.
Malaki talaga yung impact sa pag-i-improve ko as a photographer kasi hindi lang basics yung tinuturo, parang yung advanced stuff na.
I'm always welcome na idea na magkaroon ng isang community ang mga photographer. Yung imbis na magbangayan, nagtutulungan.
It feels really nice to be part of Photo Nation because of how active the group is. A lot of inspiration for me to take in.
Ko in-expect na ganito yung welcome ng Photo Nation sa akin.
Napagsama-sama ng Photo Nation ang mga photographer, ano man ang lahi nila.
I've met a lot of people from different regions sa country natin. Mas na-widen yung network ko.
Masaya kasi nakakapag-share ka ng free.
Yun na mas manada oportunidad. Pati el chances na mas kada grande di mi thinking about things na noy ati na kalya ko nila.
Feel like I'm with a family that supports what I love and what I'm passionate about. Mararamdaman mo na may value yung gawa mo and mas nakikita mo na there is an opportunity for you to grow in this industry.
I joined Facebook a year ago and you are the first group I joined. One big international family. It's great to be part of Photo Nation International.
Aside from the photography memes, pinakagusto na ako sa Photo Nation is activities like Photographer of the Week and sa mga Theme of the Week.
I was really happy to be featured as the Photographer of the Week. It really helps and boosts me.
One of the things I like about Photo Nation is the fact that it's not limited by any demographic, by any location, or by year.
Tuwang-tuwa ako kasi siyempre first time ko maging part ng isang member na may malaking community. Maganda experience ko.
Nakita na ko na daghang mga parehas na kong edad ang misulay og photography diri sa mga sa Dipolog.
Nakatabang siya ka mo-grow ko as a photographer. Maka-inspire siya sa mga kasama na ko na bagungan pa. Pag-join ako aning Photo Nation kay at first kay nakulbaan ko ato kay international siya.
Pag-ayat ko ken to Photo Nation kay dagiti na dumaduma nga aktibidades kay Domingo kas kuma dagiti pasalit nga pagka-recognizean dagiti kas kanyak nga dadamo i photography.
Người ta thường hay nói rằng là khi mà bạn muốn đi thật là nhanh thì bạn đi một mình, nhưng mà khi mà bạn muốn đi xa thì bạn sẽ đi cùng với cả những người khác. Thành ra là khi mà tham gia vào những cái group chơi ảnh như là Photo Nation thì nó giúp mình là sẽ nhìn được thấy rất là nhiều bức ảnh đẹp, và qua đó thì và cũng người ta rất nhiều là photographer giỏi. Thế thành ra là qua đó mình được truyền cảm hứng hơn.
So, paano kung ba mag-join ka ng community? Uning, manahit kung bakal inspirasyon.
Yung first impression ko sa Photo Nation, walang toxic sa group. Parang dito sa Photo Nation nakaka-proud kasi parang nabibigyan ng voice yung mga Pilipino.
I think Photo Nation is there. It's kind of feel like home. Alam mong this group will help you grow.
Sobrang ganda ng podcast quality. Yun yung magagawa ng Pinoy. So, nakaka-proud din.
Nagulat din po ako lalo kasi almost around the world kasali ko. Parang ang laki pong privilege sa akin na sa Philippines po nag-start tong Photo Nation.
Pinoy pride kasi nga, di ba? Doon yung group is sa Pilipinas. So parang kaya natin makisabay at maliit tayong bansa.
I think Photo Nation parang for me, yung always active na ako.
Swerte gid ko kay naging part ko sa grupo ni. Hindi ko gid malimtan ang opportunity kag hindi ko gid pagsayawan.
Marami akong natutunan, lalo yung sa masterclass.
Photo Nation expanded my global knowledge, especially regarding Filipino photography. The Philippines seems to be pretty excited and actively pursuing the craft.
Feeling ko na welcome ka talaga kasi may mga toxic na mga tao. Nakakaugmat na nakaka-inspire sinda ng mga picture ninda na pinapailing sa mga bawat saro.
That worldwide photo walk, my gosh, I was surprised that many people showed up and it brought tears to my eyes. It was brilliant. There's so much love. I think that's the best way to say it. There's so much love in this community.
The truth is, this is merely a setback. This is merely one huge mountain that we have to traverse.
Hi guys, welcome back to Film Factor Podcast. So, without further ado, let's start. Let's meet our first guest. Hold on. Let me just pull this on screen. Let's all meet our first guest, Direct JP Habac. JP Habac is the director of Gaya sa Pelikula, a web series, as well as I'm Drunk, I Love You, a 2017 indie film, and lots of other projects. He started working in the industry in 2009 as a production assistant and a script supervisor. JP says that filmmaking creates our existence and transforms the way we see the world. JP pursued filmmaking because he wants to make a small difference by telling stories that inspire, memorable, and shared. Hold on. And spotlight. And without further ado, Direct JP, welcome back to the podcast.
Hello.
Yan. So, Direct, what got you into films and how do your films relate to your own stories in life?
Okay. What got me into film? Actually, originally I was a BS Biology major. Kasi magdo-doctor dapat ako. So, BS Bio ako sa UP Baguio noon, 2004. Yeah. Yan, BS Bio ko noon. And then, nag-transfer ako ng Diliman. Tapos, medyo na-late ako sa enrollment noon. So, nagpadpad ako ng BS Geography naman. So, medyo makalat yung buhay ko nung college. Tapos, may sinalihan ako na film org nung nasa Diliman na ako. Yung UP Cinema. And then, actually, hindi ko alam na hindi ko alam na as in, course pala ang paggawa ng pelikula sa Diliman. As in, wala akong idea. So, may classmate ako noon sa geography na nirecruit ako na sumali doon sa film org. Tapos, so yun, nakasama sa film org, na-engganyo sa paggawa ng mga student films. And then, nakapanood ako ng thesis defense ng UP Film. Tapos, ayun, nakakatawa kasi parang every time matapos may palabas yung pelikula nila, tatayo sila doon sa stage, tapos sasabihin nila yung pangalan nila. Parang, for example, ako po si JP Habac, at itong aking pelikula. Tapos sabi ko, shit, gusto ko rin nun. Gusto ko rin ng ganong experience. So, after a SEM, nag-shift ako to film. And then, ayun, tuloy-tuloy na yun. Luckily, hindi na ako lumipat ng iba pang course after 3 courses. Ayun, tapos, ayun, doon ako nagsimula na talaga sa pelikula.
Ganda.
And then, yung second question, how do my films relate to my own stories in life?
Yeah.
Okay. Yung mentor ko, yung isa sa mga lecturers namin sa UPFI, sabi sa amin na, kasi thesis na namin noon. So personally, nahirapan akong maghanap ng, makaisip ng kwento. So sabi nila sa amin, para hindi ka mahirapang mag-isip ng kwento na gusto mong gawing pelikula, pumanap ka ng kwento na galing sa'yo. As in, huwag ka nang lumayo. Kumuha ka ng kwento na galing sa personal experiences mo. Para kahit pasikut-sikutin mo yan, or tanungin ka ng mga tao, bakit yan ang ginawa mong kwento or pelikula, alam mo kung paano sagutin kasi galing sa'yo siya eh. It's a personal experience at hindi may invalidate ng ibang tao kasi experience mo siya.
Right.
So, kapag gumagawa ako ng mga pelikula, lagi siyang may touch of personal experience. Kasi mas malapit siya sa truth ko. And kapag mas malapit siya sa truth ko, mas authentic yung lumalabas sa screen. So, ayun.
Ayun, so ganun pala yun. In terms of naman direct, in terms of visuals, how do you do your work in terms of visuals? And especially nga sa mga films na ginagawa mo, tsaka sa mga commercials, paano ka nagsisimula sa idea?
Okay. Lagi akong siguro training na rin sa amin sa academe noon na kailangan ang king lagi ng ang core, yung pinaka-core lagi ng isang pelikula ay yung kwento. So ako parang habang nung nagkatrabaho na ako, nung gumagawa na ako ng pelikula, ng mga TV series, commercials, etc. I always focus on the story. Nilalast ko na yung style, yung visual treatment, ganyan. Kasi na yun eh, madali na yun eh.
Right.
As long as buo yung story mo at buo yung character mo. So, kapag naging buo na yung characters mo, kompleto na yung journey nila, mabubuo na yung story mo eh. So, doon ako laging nagsisimula. Parang kailangan, sarado muna yung script ko bago ako mag-jump to the next step, which is pag-isip ng style and treatment for the film or for any content na ginagawa ko. And then kapag dun sa visuals na, I always focus on the struggles of the character, of the main protagonist. Kasi yung subject, yung style, yung mga negative spaces, mga 180 rule, yung mga ganyan. Yung mga cinematographic styles, ganyan. Nagiging additional factor lang siya kapag buo yung story mo. So, kung meron akong buong character at meron akong magandang visuals to accompany the story at yung struggles ng characters ko, magiging buo yung lalabas on screen. So I simula with the story and the character's journey bago ako gumawa ng visual treatment for anything na ginagawa ko. May it be film or TV series, music video, commercials. Yeah.
So ganun pala siya. And in terms of naman direct, kasi you mentioned earlier na you've been joining festivals, not only here pero sa ibang bansa rin. Ano yung what makes Filipino movies distinct among the rest, especially when it comes to sa mga festivals na ganyan?
Okay. Yung mga stories kasi in general wala nang original eh. I mean, lahat na ata ng iba't ibang lahat na ng stories na gawa niya, wala nang original na story. Nagkakaiba na lang talaga sa execution and dun sa truth na pinanggagalingan ng pelikula. So, ako personally, I think what makes our films distinct in the international scene ay yung gaano siya ka-immersed dun sa specificities ng culture. I think doon tayo nagiging unique kasi unique ang culture natin mga Pilipino. And sinasabayan pa yun na parang, for example, sina Eric Mati, yan, mga genre filmmakers. Alam mo yun, parang mga Lino Broca, yan. Alam mo yun, parang they smuggle their statements in the paradigms of genre storytelling.
Yeah.
So kung meron silang story na as in kinuha sa pinakamalalim na culture ng Pinoy, tapos sinabay mo siya with genre films, doon, I think isa yun sa mga nagiging dahilan kung bakit naging distinct ang mga pelikula natin in the international scene.
Yeah. And speaking of your works, tingnan naman natin yung mga mga movies ni Direk. Hold on. Ay, sorry. Yeah. Again, for those who are watching, you can actually follow si Direk JP on his Instagram. It's at JP Habac on Instagram. And may YouTube din siya. You can check out his YouTube. And then, ito na. Let's go ahead with... ito, medyo sikat na sikat to.
Ganda naman gumising araw-araw. Kung ganito yung makikita mo. Diyos ko, Lord!
7 years.
7 years.
7 years. Wala kang pahinga? Gusto mo pa atang i-delay?
Yabay.
Carson, I love you! Tol, I love you!
Bax, okay na nag-I love you na yun eh. Kaso dinugtungan pa ng tol.
Ano, loan yun tayo?
Ano ang plano mo?
Saan?
Sa future?
Future is unreal. Ultimately, real is the only present moment of physical efficiency. Waka, saan na nga yun?
Future girlfriend.
Guys, natatay ako. Ikaw na lang yung umaasa kahit yung pag-asa nag-give up na sa'yo.
Hello. Hi. Carson. Satti. Patty? May age. Tayo ng bagnet! Bagnet. Okay lang kung sa iba. Vegan kasi ako eh.
Alam mo yun si ate.
Ewan ko dyan. Bigla na lang lumitaw.
Guys, nag-back out daw yung isang performer nila.
Oh, sakto si Carson, musician/social worker.
Uy, ano?
Hirap lang talagang hindihan ng taong minahal mo ng sobra. Alam mo yung walang-wala ka na, pero pag nandyan siya, parang...
Yeah, medyo mahaba. We'll just skip it through. Direk, maybe you can talk about this. Hold on, let me just pull you back on screen. There. So go ahead, Direk. What do you love about this film?
Okay, so yung I'm Drunk, I Love You, it's my first feature film. I shot it in 2016, tapos we released it commercially February of 2017. Parang ano namin siya, anti-Valentine offer din. Kasi hindi siya yung hindi siya yung usual rom-com film na napapanood natin every Valentine's. So ayun, first feature film ko yung I'm Drunk, I Love You. Sinimulan ko siyang i-develop noong 2013. Yun. Nagsimula siya with a title. Dun sa I'm Drunk, I Love You. So, nabuo yung I'm Drunk, I Love You yung title ng I'm Drunk, I Love You. Nabuo siya sa isang inuman with friends sa, saan nga to? Yung sa may Kamuning 77. Yun. Yun, so nagiinuman kami doon, tapos may isa akong friend na sobrang nalasing. Tapos, as in, buti may wisyo pa ako nun. So, yung isa naming friend, sobrang siyang nalasing. Tapos sabi niya, asa na si ganito? Pakisabi sa kanya, I'm drunk but I love you. So, uy, ang gandang title nun ah.
Yung pala yun.
So, ayun, so, parang, hininom ko muna yung title, tapos nag-isip ako, ano yung magandang story para sumakto dun sa I'm Drunk, I Love You na title. And then, come 2015, so parang ang tagal ko siyang hindi nasulat. And then 2014, yun, a year after, sinimulan ko na siyang isulat based sa mga personal experiences ko at ng best friend namin ni Satti actually. Yes, yeah. Kung nanonood ka ngayon, Shade. So, ayan.
Tatawa si Satti.
Ano siya, yung original story noon was pinagsamang personal experiences namin. Ako, tsaka ng best friend ko, si Shane. Tapos, maraming rewrites, ganyan. So, 2016. Sorry, nalilito na ako. 2015, 2016 yan. Nakapasok siya as finalist sa Cine Filipino Film Festival. Pero dahil nga yung pelikula ay maraming kanta, ganyan, sabi namin, shit, ayokong i-compromise yung story dahil lang kulang kami sa budget at kulang kami sa story. Makukulangan na kami sa oras. So we had to pull it out from the festival. And then, doon ko pinitch siya to different production houses. And luckily, TBA Studios was kind enough to produce my first feature film. So ayun, ginawa ko na yung I'm Drunk, I Love You under TBA Studios. Tapos with the help of my co-writer, Gaya. Ayun, tapos as in, masayang experience yung I'm Drunk, I Love You kasi sobrang close niya sa puso ko kasi first feature film ko siya. And marami akong pinagdaanan para magawa lang yung I'm Drunk, I Love You. Like, I had to face a lot of rejections. Madami. Marami mga issues with friends, yan. Kasi grabe yung journey para lang magawa yung pelikula. And I'm really happy na yung I'm Drunk I Love You nag-jumpstart ng career ko in directing. Ayun. So, yun yung kwento ng I'm Drunk I Love You.
And we'd like to congratulate you kasi, di ba, live siya. They can actually watch it now, yung full film sa YouTube. Maybe you can invite them also.
Yes. So, yung I'm Drunk I Love You is now free for streaming on YouTube sa page ng TBA Studios. Yan. Libre yan. So, pwede kayong masaktan anytime.
Para sa mga hindi pa nakakapanood, actually napanood ko na siya dun sa YouTube. Ang ganda. If you have the time. With that, tingnan naman natin yung next. Ito, medyo bago lang to na project ni Direk. Hold on.
Sige nga, bakit gusto mo magpelikula?
Gusto ko magkwento.
Hi, I'm Carl Frederick Almacen. I just moved into my uncle's apartment.
Hi, neighbor. Hindi ako magnanakaw. I'm just hiding from my sister.
Gusto ko mag-shift sa film. Gusto ko magtrabaho sa pelikula. Turuan mo ako.
Deal.
Kumusta kayo? Pinasasakit niya ulo mo, no?
Sobra! Pinapatambay yung mga hugasin sa lababo, hindi nagsasaing. Tapos kung makasar akala mo, regalo ng Diyos sa katauhan. Pero bumabawi naman siya, ate.
Ikaw, Carl, magugustuhan mo to si Vlad?
Alam mo, ikaw, kakambatin lang natin.
Bakit hindi? Alam mo, feeling na hindi ko hindi na sa sarili mong buhay.
Yeah.
More than you think. Gusto ko masasabi kung sa akin.
Simple ito lang yung panawakay. Gusto mo ba ako?
Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko nga sigurado kung kagaya mo. Hindi ko alam kung ano ako.
So I act like I just accused you of a crime.
Okay, so Direk, maybe you can talk about your new web series. Hold on, let me just pull you back into screen. And go ahead, Direk. Medyo something new. Go ahead.
Yes. So, with the trend of BL series ngayon sa Pilipinas coming from Japan, Thailand, yan. Yung Gaya sa Pelikula, siya ay isang web series na produce ng Globe Studios, created by Juan which is a close friend of mine way back in college. Yan. So, ito yung first project namin together ni Gege, ni Juan Miguel Severo. So, yung Gaya sa Pelikula, so yun nga, it's a BL series, pero hindi namin siya actually tinatawag na BL series. I mean, yung team namin. Tinatawag namin siya na rom-com. It's a rom-com series. It's nothing, wala siyang pinagkaiba sa mga rom-com series na napanood natin sa Netflix, yan, sa sinehan. So, ang Gaya sa Pelikula ay tungkol siya sa kay Carl at kay Vlad, mga film. Si Carl ay gusto mag-shift sa film with the help na para tutulungan siya ni Vlad na isang film major. So, doon magsimula yung kwento nila with their struggles, with their sexual identity, how they face their families, how they choose to be brave in choosing their career path. Yan. So, yan yung kwento ng Gaya sa Pelikula. Parang tinitreat namin siya ng buong team. Tinitreat namin ang Gaya sa Pelikula na it's a love letter. It's our love letter to the community, to the LGBT community. Kasi sobrang init ngayon ng usapin ng SOGI, Equality Bill. And kaya ako naiyak siguro ng Rappler dahil dito.
Go ahead.
Ayan. So, ayun. Sabi ko nga, it's our love letter to the LGBT community. Kasi ito yung kwento na hindi namin na-feel, hindi namin na-experience nung bata pa kami. Parang somehow it's a way of taking back our story. And also, it's a reminder for the younger queer kids na it's normal to love same gender. It's normal to shout to everyone kung sino yung mahal mo without without the fear of prejudice, judgment. Yeah. So ayun, yun yung Gaya sa Pelikula na mapapanood nyo for free ulit sa YouTube page ng Globe Studios. Yan. Meron na lang kaming 1 episode actually. Next Friday, 8 p.m.
Ayun. So for those who haven't seen it yet, baka you'd like to check that out. And Direk, ito. We have one last video from you. Ito yung project mo with Jollibee. Maganda rin siya. Napanood ko na siya. Isa sa mga nagustuhan ko na video. Go ahead. Ayan. Ito. I-play ko lang.
The most special days don't happen by accident. Pinaplano lahat yan. That's what I've learned after 7 years of being a wedding planner. I like it when things are organized. And that's how I like even the weddings I plan. Perfect. That's a signature Ana Lagman wedding. Leave it to me. Beautiful location? Check. Charming decorations? Check. And most importantly, kailangan on time.
So, Joel and Tess, everything you wanted is in this.
Sorry, Kuya. Late ako.
Ikaw na naman!
This is Gio Lorenzo. Paano ko siya nakilala? Well, siya lang naman ang consistent headache in the weddings that I have handled. Lahat ng friends niya, kinakasal na. Siya na lang ang hindi. Kaya groomsman ang bayan. Life of the party. Pero sobrang gulo. Smooth talker. Pero not a good listener.
Pero hindi ako doon nagtatapos. Guys, ito yung pinaka-importante. Last story namin. Hindi, okay lang. Alala mo yun? Sinusundan niya yung pinakamaganda.
Crowd favorite. Pero lagi namang late.
San si Gio? Hindi, late ulit. No, this time I really don't know. You're late.
Yeah, medyo full full episode. Maybe we can ask si Direk habang tayo. Hold on. Let me just pull him back. Go ahead, Direk. What can you say about this project?
Ayan. Itong Jollibee short film siya actually kasi 8 minutes. Ito yung first project ko sa commercial. 2017, 2018. And I'm happy na maganda yung material na napunta sa akin kasi, well, coming from I'm Drunk, I Love You, I think yun yung napanood nila, kaya nila ako kinuha actually for this project. Dahil kaya gusto nila na ako yung kunin kasi rom-com nga yung material.
Yeah.
Yun. So, ito yung first commercial ko. Actually, yung producer nitong ad na to, meron silang, kasi sa mga BL series ngayon, may mga reactors. As in, community sila of reactors. Kasi gumagawa sila ng mga reaction videos sa YouTube. Tapos, pinapanood lang nila yung mga series. Lahat. And then, yung producer ko dito, si Sid Alcala, meron na rin siyang YouTube video for reaction videos ng mga BL series. So, ayun, full circle. So, yun, ano pa ba? Yung Jollibee commercial. Tapos yung actors namin dyan, si Amanda tsaka si Luis. Si Amanda ay sportscaster actually. First time niya ata itong acting gig. Tapos si Luis din, fitness instructor naman I think. Tapos first acting gig niya rin itong sa Jollibee. So pareho silang bago dun sa project. And it was really fun working with, new actors. Kasi doon talaga natetest yung patience. Doon natetest yung galing mo para mapaarte ang isang artista.
Right.
So, ayun. Jollibee. ayun, yun yung Jollibee commercial.
Okay. And then, Direk, ito naman. For those who are watching us tonight, para dun sa mga gustong i-jumpstart yung career nila into making films, saan sila dapat magsimula?
Okay. Actually, lagi ko tong nakukuhang sa tanong sa Twitter. Yung mga aspiring filmmakers na kung kailangan ba daw nilang mag-enroll sa academe, as in mag-aral, magkaroon ng formal schooling sa filmmaking. Sinasabi ko sa kanila, hindi naman kailangan, lalo na kung wala kang resources. Diba? Kasi tulad ng sabi ko kanina, mahal ang paggawa ng pelikula.
Right.
At mahal din sorry Satti. mahal mag-aral. Kasi ako noon sa film, nung college, kulang ang 50,000 sa isang major film production. Major student film production. Ano yun? Maliit yun. So, ako ay nag-shift ako nang hindi nalalaman ng mga magulang ko na nag-shift na ako ng film. So, ang ginawa ko noon, nag-work ako sa call center. Para meron akong pangbayad sa mga sa photography class ko, sa film prod, basic film prod class ko, ganyan. As in, hindi alam ng parents ko. So, ayun, I think ako personally, hindi naman kailangan na lalo na kung alam mo yun, wala talagang kakayahan yung family mo para pag-aralin ka ng pelikula. Ang pinakamahalaga siguro for me, kung gustong makapasok sa filmmaking industry, ay siguro start watching Filipino films. Start with it. Kasi lalo na ngayon, yung generation ngayon, nakakasada actually kasi hindi nila kilala si Nalino Broca. Alam mo yun, national artist natin to sa pelikula. And if you want to be part of the industry, you have to know your history, di ba? I mean, kaya tayo nandito ngayon, kaya tayo freely nakakagawa ng pelikula ay dahil sa mga taong to. So, we have to know these people for us to move forward. So yun, start watching Filipino films. Doon kayo magsimula. And then, ano pa ba? Pag nakapasok na kayo at nagsusulat na kayo, turn off your inner critic. As in, isa yan sa malakas na kaaway ng mga filmmakers, ng mga storytellers, yung inner demon. Kapag naka-on yan, hindi kayo makaka-move forward sa mga ginagawa ninyo. Lalo na sa pagsusulat. So always turn off your inner critic kapag nagsusulat kayo or basta any content na ginagawa niyo, always turn off your inner critic. Kapag naka-on yan, laging sasabihin sa inyo na hindi ka magaling, hindi ka sapat, hindi ka dapat nandyan sa industriya na yan. So kailangan off niyo yan. Kasi kung nakapasok kayo sa industry, meaning deserve niyo yan at in-earn niyo yan, yung spot na yan. Kasi hindi lahat nabibigyan ng chance na makapasok sa industry. Kasi sobrang competitive ng filmmaking industry. As in, kahit ako graduate ako 2009, nakagawa ako ng first feature film ko ng 2017. So yung 2009 to 2017 ay pagbibuild lang sa name ko para alam niyo para i-trust ako ng mga producers na uy, magagawa ko yan, promise. So, mahirap yung competition. So, you have to really focus on your goal. So, kapag nakapasok na kayo sa industry, always turn off that inner critic kasi kayo rin yung talo sa dulo. Ayun.
Okay. And ito direct, may pumasok na question from one of our viewers, si Sir Ted Claudio, who's watching with us tonight. In every problem, they said there are always opportunities. What opportunities do you think aspiring content creators or filmmakers should tap these days? Ano yung mga, since you mentioned na yung mga tips mo?
Sorry, ulitin pala yung question.
Ang question niya about...
May mga problem. Sorry, ulit.
Ang question niya, in terms of opportunities daw, ano yung mga opportunities na maaaring itap ng mga aspiring filmmakers? Tulad sa ginawa mo. Go ahead.
Okay. Ako, ang ginawa ko noon, nag-start talaga ako sa apprenticeship. Nag-apprentice ako kay Irene Villamor. Assistant director siya ni Joyce Bernal dati, pero director na siya ngayon. Siya yung director ng Sidan Aya, Camp Sawi, yan. Meet Me in St. Gallen. Siya yung director na. So, nag-apprentice ako kay Direk Irene, nung AD pa lang siya ni Direk Joyce. Kasi naisip ko noon, kasi bilang ito yung tinapos ko na course, syempre ito yung magiging bread and butter ko. So parang sabi ko, kailangan ko makapag-isip ng way na nakaka-earn ako ng pera, pambayad at pangkain ng 3 times a day. Tapos, nakakapag-practice din ako. Alam niyo yun, na parang kailangan ko ng mentorship kung paano, alam mo yun, para makapag-direct. So, naisip ko, assistant directing yung pinakamalapit doon sa naiisip ko. Kasi yung assistant director, ano siya hand-in-hand nakatrabaho ng director. So somehow para siyang apprenticeship na rin for me. So nag-start ako nag-apprentice ako as assistant director under Direk Irene. Tapos yung first job ko as paid job as assistant director kay Gerald Darog na. So ayun, marami kaming projects na pinagsamahan ni Gerald na ako yung assistant director niya. And then yun, yung opportunity kasi ano siya bibihira na makita. Lalo na kung hindi ka naghahanap. Kasi hindi yan lalapit sa'yo. Kailangan mo siyang hanapin. Kailangan mong kapalan yung mukha mo para makakuha ng mga ganitong opportunities. Kasi kung magiging pabebe ka lang, wala. As in, aamagin ka sa bahay. So, kailangan mo talagang kapalan. Ako, kinapalan ko talaga yung mukha ko na anong pwede kong gawin? I think sakit na ng mga millennials no? Satti. Na alam mo yun, parang dahil nga sa sobrang competitive ng environment, ng industriya ng pelikula, kailangan mo talagang isiksik yung sarili mo. Kailangan kanilang makilala para mapagkatiwalaan at mabigyan ng opportunities. Ayun. So, ang ginawa ko talaga noon ay kinapalan ko lang talaga yung mukha ko.
Oo. Minsan yun na talaga yung lakas ng loob, no?
Oo, lakas ng loob, yes.
And ito, Direk, may dalawa pa actually na pumasok na question. Wait lang. Ang first question is, sabi si Cindy, ang ating si Madam Cindy, yung tanong niya, napansin namin na naglalagay ka ng mga analog or vintage touch sa mga pelikula mo, lalo na yung sa I'm Drunk, I Love You. Nagpakita ka ng Super 8 na mga camera, mga ganyan. Ano yung inspiration mo dito? Yun yung tanong niya.
Yung inspiration, actually, dun sa I'm Drunk, I Love You kasi, since film major si Dio, yung character ni Paula Avellino. Kasi ako noon, na-experience ko mag-shoot ng Super 8. And ang ganda talaga na itsura kasi ng Super 8.
Oo.
So, ayun, sabi ko, kailangan may Super 8 kasi nakaka-film major yun. So wala talagang wala talagang deeper metaphor under that. Pero, yung placement kasi, dun sa I'm Drunk, I Love You, yung placement niya, di ba nasa dulo siya? As in, after the main credits, nandun siya sa dulo. Kasi ito yung mga memories ng friendship ni Dio at ni Carson. So, kaya ko siya nilagay doon kasi parang ipakita na ito yung friendship na na-save ni na Dio at ni Carson kahit nagkaaminan ng feelings, nagkasamaan ng loob. Ito yung friendship na na-save nung dalawa. So, parang it's a reminder for everyone na hindi importante na alam niyo yun, na kung hindi ka mahal ng best friend mo, okay lang yan. Kasi may kaibigan ka pa rin at the end. So, yun yung yun yung placement ng memories. Memories siya ng friendship ni Dio at ni Carson.
Okay.
Yun.
And then,
tapos, kasi kung napanood din nila yung yung last episode ng Gaya sa Pelikula, may ganun din na may homage to I'm Drunk, I Love You somehow dun sa
Kasi mga film majors.
Super 8 style nun.
Kasi
yun naman, parang gusto ko lang ipakita na kasi sa buong series, sa buong Gaya sa Pelikula series, naglalagay ako ng mga film references from famous rom-com films from Star Cinema, yan. So doon parang pinapakita ko lang na mag-e-exist ang mga ganitong klaseng homosexual stories kahit na, I mean, mag-e-exist yung mga stories ng nina Carl at ni Vlad kahit ilagay mo siya sa mundo ni na Katniel, ni na JD, ni na Marvin Jolina. So, ayun, para siyang homage to the romantic comedy films of our country. Yan.
Okay. So, and last na lang, direct from Jovan Aquino, ang tanong niya, how gender-fluid films like Gaya sa Pelikula change the perspective of netizens?
Ayoko magbuhat ng bangko.
Sige lang.
Pero,
go ahead.
Ano ba? Natutuwa ako sa reception ng mga nakakapanood ng Gaya sa Pelikula. Kasi kahit ako, parang yung journey ng mga nakakapanood, sumasabay din sa journey ko bilang director ng series. Kasi tulad nga sabi ko kanina, somehow it's a way of taking back our story. Na ako as a queer storyteller na never kong na-experience mga ganitong never ako nakapanood ng mga ganitong klaseng content sa sinihan, sa TV. And finally, merong ganitong klaseng representation ng LGBT sa mainstream media. And I'm happy na people are actually tinatanggap siya fully. Ayun, nakakatuwa yung reception kasi may kilig. Pero kasi more than the kilig, kailangan meron tayong binubuksan na mga ideas sa mga nakakapanood. Yun.
Okay. And then last question, Direk, can you share your top 3 tips for aspiring filmmakers that they should be aware of sa pagsali nila dito sa industriya na to? Bukod dun sa nabanggit mo kanina.
Ano ba? Una, I think be open to conversations and be open to criticisms. Yan. As in, importante na kapag nakapagpalabas ka na ng pelikula, TV series, etc. Kapag nakapagpalabas ka na ng mga ito, kailangan open ka for a lot of conversations and criticisms kasi hindi lahat ng tao magugustuhan yung gawa mo. And you have to be open with kahit negative comments pa yan kasi yung mga yan yung tutulong sa'yo para mag-grow as an artist. Second, be ready for burnouts. As in, I've experienced a lot of burnouts, as in na-experience ako ng lahat ng pagod sa paggawa ng pelikula. As in, physically, emotionally, spiritually, as in nakakapagod siya. As in nakaka-burnout ang paggawa ng pelikula or pag-reach sa dreams mo sa paggawa ng pelikula. You have to be ready sa ganong moments. Pero kailangan pero okay lang yun eh. 'Di ba? Kailangan gustuhin mo ang isang bagay kahit nakakapagod na siya. So, yun. And lastly, ko na lang yung kanina dun sa opening kanina na always tell stories that are memorable, shared, and inspire action. And always ask yourself how you can help the communities you serve and what you can do to make a change. Yun. Yun yung pinaka-importanteng tip siguro. Especially for Filipino filmmakers. Kasi lalo na for the next generation of filmmakers, kailangan lagi tayong grounded sa kung anong kailangan ng community na sinuserve natin. Para yun yung gagawin natin pelikula para sa kanila. Yeah.
Very
Thank
well
you.
said from Direct JP Habac. And thank you, Direct, for sharing your time with us tonight. Please stay. Meron pa tayong closing for later. And on that note, next up we have Miss Satti Ombao. Hold on, let me just keep her on screen. Yan. A part-time faculty of film and television at the Colegio de San Juan de Letran, she also studied in Film Conservatory at the New York Film Academy. She currently works as a producer for a New York-based data transfer company for film and television. Satti loved watching films as a kid and has been sharing her love for it since. She values meeting people who have the same perception for films. As an educator, she savors on the peculiar perspectives of students. She says that the love for the arts and sciences in general made her pursue film. In its core are stories that are innate to any man and pushes humanity forward with the message or messages it delivers. Wow, ang ganda naman ng sinulat ni Miss Satti. Sats, good evening.
Hi, good evening. I just want to share, ang dami kong feelings just watching JP's film. Yung mga clips just now. Ang dami kong feelings. Ano yung mga tinatago mong feelings? Parang bigla lumabas lahat ngayon.
So,
okay.
Ayun, welcome back. Welcome back, Miss Satti. As an educator, I'll jump into the question. As an educator, what do you love most about what you do, and how does it feel when your students are able to penetrate the industry?
One thing that I always tell my co-faculties, and especially other practitioners that I invite, my old boss calls me budol-budol, that I invite to teach. Ayan, ini-invite ko din yan si JP. The interesting thing about being an educator is it's pretty cool to actually meet your future practitioners at their very young age, very raw age. And just like what you told in my my introduction, I really love the perspective of the younger generation. It's very different. I'll just share a little bit. So this week we actually talked about German expressionism.
Wow.
And I was surprised with their explanations when they watched Nosferatu, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is completely different from the presentation that I made. No, so students, especially the younger generations, they will never cease to surprise you. That's one thing. That's why I'm still teaching. And when it comes to the achievements of my students, to be honest, my students are fairly young. I also just started teaching 3 years ago when I came home here. But all I can say is it's a feeling of fulfillment. And I'm very thankful that I've been a part of it, even if it's just a small portion of the achievements and the achievements that they'll gain in the future. You know, I believe that in every generation pushes the arts forward. And with that, I'm just glad to be a tiny bit part of it. That's it.
Ganda. And
sagot ka, no?
Oo. na ano ko eh. na ano ko. And yun, Miss Satti, how do you see the craft evolve, especially in the way films are made? Especially when you see it sa generation today.
With the generation today, I think the themes, we will never get lost with the themes. Mula sa mga, like from our great-grandparents to us, like look at JP's film that, we saw a little bit earlier. Themes come across generations. But what is happening right now is the actual principles of storytelling. It's drastically shifting with technology, especially with it's I think the biggest factor why it's changing is the audience's behavior. There are actual studies that our attention span is shorter, so that would be more challenging for us who does traditional films. And with the shift of technology, we have AR, VR, and then holograms. I know that it's already up in the air.
Yeah.
We are aware that there are such technologies pushing forward. And that will drastically change all the principles that we studied on how to do a film. Because it breaks the fourth wall.
Right.
The audience will not be sitting in a theater or sitting in front of their computer, but they'll be in the story. So it's going to be an interactive storytelling. I think that will drastically change a lot of things. And this has already been a discussion outside of our country, because what they're saying is it's breaking all the things that we studied for the past 100 years about film, which is quite scary but quite exciting as well.
Very immersive itong upcoming mga parating na technologies na...
Actually, malapit na.
Oo nga.
Delayed na nga si holograms. Before, it was supposed to be in 2013.
And ito, Miss Satti, may tanong sa atin. Ma'am, pwede ba kaming mag-enroll sa inyo? Ayan.
Ang share ko lang, katulad ng sinabi ni JP, kung hindi naman kailangan, hindi problema. Pwede naman mag-enroll. Pero pwede rin hindi. Parang masama pala akong teacher, no? Ngayon ko na nare-realize yung mga sinasagot ko.
And moving on ito, you're an alumni of the New York Film Academy. How do you think Hollywood should also focus on diversifying itself? Not just by the actors. Kasi nga, di ba, when you see movies, especially in Netflix, they try to, as much as possible, diversify in terms of ethnicity with the actors. In terms of making films naman on the back end, do you think production side would also need to diversify itself, especially with Filipinos, Mexican? What's your opinion on this?
In Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
In Hollywood, the good news is it's actually very diversified. Because I do have a lot of friends who moved from New York. Because like in New York, it's really diversified. We have no choice. It's a melting pot of every single nation. So we have no choice but to work with every single race, you know? In LA as well, in Hollywood, from what I know, for the past few years, it has actually been shifting and evolving. And I know for a fact, I have a lot of friends from different nations who have immersed in Hollywood productions. So diversity behind the set is not a problem, but it's always going to be a question of who is above the line versus below the line. Now, you're above the line. This is a term that we use. This is actually the line in the budget. It's the line in above the line and below the line. So technically, above the line is the creation and ownership of the project. So that's your producer, your director, your writer, your even your actors actually. But I think that's the biggest question. Your above the line doesn't have much diversity, because when you say Hollywood, you're talking about studio films.
Yeah.
So studio films are of course owned by studios. Diba? That's it. Pero below the line, there is no question. There's a good mix there. And one thing that I do know, and go America, because Biden won today. Sorry for being political. But one thing that I believe in the American nation is among the other countries, they are the most embracing when it comes to different races. They don't judge you according to race. They judge you according to your skill, according to what you can bring into the project, and at the same time, the common language in production or in work in general is grit. How far can you go with how hard it gets?
And just to jump into what you said, di ba nga, since Parasite actually won, di ba? So it's a great opportunity for different nations, especially here in Asia. And ito, in terms of Miss Satti, in terms of experimental executions sa mga pelikula, most of what we see today are inspired, yung nga na-mention ni Direct JP earlier, most of what we see today are inspired by the classics. Kumbaga, karamihan dito, nagawa na. And they just get reinvented. How do you see it, or how do you see creativity play with the generation today, with your students?
Actually, very interesting with the younger generation. Since they're still very young, all their explorations and creativity is very raw. So there is no right and wrong. Well, this is the time that's how I see it in them. There is no right and wrong. They are still copying the classics, but what's interesting is the treatment that they do, especially now. And I think Ryan can relate to this as well.
Yeah.
The content creators. I have so many students doing their micro shorts at home, not even just because of my subject, but because they want to. You'll be surprised with the amount of creativity, how they shift characters from an inanimate object to something.
Wow.
medyo weird siya, pero for me, it works. And of course, I don't tell them that it's like brilliant, no? I just let them play.
Ayan, baka nanonood yung mga estudyante ni Miss Satti.
Ay, hindi ko sinabi sa kanila kasi natatago ako sa kanila.
Okay. And then, speaking of what you do, eto, tingnan natin, Miss Satti actually sent us some photos. Let's try to look at some of them.
Okay. So this is my show and tell.
Oo. Ito, wait.
Okay, I'll make this quick.
For those who are watching tonight, don't forget to follow Miss Satti. Her Instagram is @Satti O. Oh, parang ano lang. And then her Facebook is facebook.com/Satti Ombao. There. And go ahead.
Okay, so this is a photo of Cortlandt Alley, the most famous alley in New York City. This is a crew for a Chinese TV show that we did in 2016. As you can see, this is what a film production looks like. It's messy, it's full of people, and there is no social distancing. So right now, this type of photo is kind of rare. The funny thing about Cortlandt Alley is it's a privately owned, the two buildings between Cortlandt Alley are privately owned. So expect angry residents when they get so pissed off because this is the most busy alley in the entire New York City where everybody shoots. Angry residents sometimes do throw trash on their window while we're doing a take. So there. So if you're visiting New York City, take a look at Cortlandt Alley, Chinatown. Next.
And then next, ito, ang
Okay,
masarap na...
so this one is an example of production outside that we did. The one on the left is our crafty truck. Ito yung mga, these are the things, these are the little perks that we have. You know, like working in film and TV production is not an easy task. When I started off, I was an AD, so expect to have 12 hours on set, 2 hours pre-start of the day, and 2 hours after wrap. So these are our little perks. We have the crafty truck. We are spoiled by production with food. I know for a fact that this is a common denominator with every single country. On the right side are permits that we have. This is me as a location manager, wherein you have to post on each location your schedule for filming because you would need to have that spot reserved. So this is a permit approved by the Mayor's Office for Film and TV, and this is for the TV show The Negotiator for Hunan TV.
Wow. Sarap naman ng production food. And
Hindi
next,
siya
go ahead.
masarap. Mahirap siya kasi kami nagtitape niyan
okay.
Kami din mag-aalis.
Okay.
Tapos may mga weirdos pa na tatawag sa'yo. Okay, on the left side is a British independent feature film. And the funny thing about this one is they're not from New York. So they came there not knowing anyone and started hiring everyone. So since it was a micro-budget feature film, we didn't have much expectations on it, but 2 years ago when I came home here, surprisingly they were already available in Netflix and in Amazon TV. On the right side are like one of the first productions that I was on. I was actually still a student during this time. I was hired as an assistant camera. I was a focus puller. So this was one of the first few times that I handled the Red Dragon. The Red Dragon during that time was the newest Red camera. And my job is to actually keep focus. And this was a short film, that one in Turkey. But I put it there because I had the fondest memory meeting new friends that became lifelong friends.
Ang ganda ng tawa yung smile ni Satti dito eh.
Kasi bigat ng camera eh.
Oo nga.
Binuhat ko ako nagbuo niyan eh.
Okay. And next. Go ahead.
Ayan. This one naman, the photo on the left is me, my director, and our DP. It was a very low budget. The director is a very good friend of mine. I was the AD for this one. The director is from the Middle East, but grew up in Canada, which is kind of weird, and a very good friend of mine. But what's interesting and why I posted this photo, this is an example of working even with the smallest budget, but the highest of hopes. So this short titled I Can't Breathe was released in 2015 and actually won, I forgot the name of the festival, but won an award in Italy. So when the Black Lives Matter movement started, this was the film that actually best described that. That's why I think it won it. And then on the right side is downtown, downtown financial district with, it looks like a bunch of friends. Yes, we were friends, but of course you also hate each other on set when nobody's, when you're freezing. We were shooting the entire day. This is for a fashion film called The Source. Our director is French and our AD is French as well. I was the production manager for this one. And the funny thing about this one, after freezing our asses off for 4 hours, we actually got the best shots in the world. And this fashion film won in La Jolla in 2013, 2014.
Wow. And then, ito, yung group shot na pinanggit mo.
This one is another group shot from The Negotiator, wherein I was the location manager. So as you can see, it also depends on what type of set, but this one was highly diverse. A lot of not a lot. Some of the crew members were from China, of course, the executive producers, the producers, and this was our New York crew. And this was a special day for us because it was the last day of filming, and at the same time, we rocked it because we dropped a car in New York City for special effects, and we only had 2 takes. Wow. And we didn't go over time.
And Satti, you mentioned earlier, diba, when we talk about this, in terms of the number of Filipinos who are in the production, ilan kayo dito?
In this production, Filipinos, I believe, well, when you say like Filipino Americans,
yeah.
I think for this one there were 3 of us, but one grew up in Jersey, and there were only 2 Filipinos, me and the production designer Roxy, who's a very good friend of mine. Roxy's still there. There were only 2 of us because it's kind of hard to find fellow Filipinos in film and TV production. Culturally, our parents force us to do jobs that we don't want. But there are a few. We do have a couple. So we do have a sound guy here. His name is Richard Baldomero.
Yeah.
But he grew up in Jersey. Hi, Richard.
Okay. And moving on to the next, ito yung kay Beyonce. Go ahead.
This one. So this one is quite interesting. This was a project wherein we did the behind the scenes interview for Billboard 100. This is for Tidal X, the production of Jay-Z. Beyonce's husband, Jay-Z. This is a very good friend of mine, wherein we did interviews with many different artists, and one of the most interesting artists that we interviewed was Beyonce, and we didn't even know that she was pregnant then. She was sexy, no? And on the right side is our IATSE handbook. So this was a project in Boston that was originally non-union, that was flipped to union. And why I placed this here, because these are one of the most memorable projects. This is my best friend, by the way. Her name is June Shim. She's a camera operator. And she's going to kill me if she sees this photo. We were roommates. So this production was flipped to union. And what was interesting about this is it was a non-union production that was flipped. So after that, most of the people in this production actually shifted to union. Union productions are what we mostly see in our TV shows, because unions actually protect the workers' rights, and there's compensation, there's insurance. So if you're in, film and TV production abroad, the union is a big thing for you. But here in the Philippines, we do have our guilds and our FDCP who has been trying to make this happen as well. Make it beneficial for everyone. It's
really important na we get protected.
It is.
And next.
Okay, so this one is just a sample of one of my location finds. One of my proud moments as a location manager is to scout many different locations. So this is the view of the UN building by Tudor City. And that's it.
Ganda.
The foggy day that day.
And ito na.
This was me as a student. So I did Google about this prof of mine. The photo on the left is a class picture on our last day for our documentary filmmaking class with Wojtek Jasny. Wojtek Jasny was a famous director who went to Cannes multiple times back in the 50s to the 70s. The sad story about Wojtek Jasny, after I looked him up, is he apparently died last year. So our professor, Wojciech Jasniu, was one of the few who told us, well, one of the many actually, who told us, just like what JP said, the important part of your film is the story. And on the right side is our last production workshop with our cinematography professor, Till Newman. And as you can see, we are a small group. And it was challenging because we were technically doing roundies on what position you have. So that time I was the producer / AD. And these are my classmates from different nations. There.
And then, eto na. Ano ba?
And of course, I wouldn't have been an educator if it weren't for these people, no? So on the left are my students for the first ever cinema nights in Letran that I was the professor. And on the right are my broadcasting students who are very gritty. And this is a very, very memorable moment for us in Letran, as this is Grandes Figuras, one of the quadricentennial events of the Colegio, wherein our students were the all-over production for it. And with that, I thank you for sharing my photos and my experience.
Ito ba? Yeah.
Ay, meron pa! Okay, so I wouldn't have been a teacher, no? For every teacher, this is a proud moment to see your students graduate. So on the left are my 5 presidents from 4 different programs. We have journalism, communication, broadcasting, and advertising. 5 female presidents, and they graduated last year. And on the right are my broadcasting students na pinagpapawisan na sa toga nila.
How does it feel, Satti, to see your students graduate? As a teacher, kasi most of the viewers are not teachers. So maybe you can share your perspective as a teacher.
For me, it's always a mixed feeling because you know that as a teacher, you're only a part of their lives for a very small time. But you would have to, for you to be able to teach properly, there's just like in acting, directing, there's an act-react. You can't really give any direction if there's no moment before. The moment before is when you get to know them.
Right.
So when they actually graduate, it's saying goodbye with them in the classroom. So it's a mix of emotions because, you know, you're happy for them, they're leveling up. But at the same time, you're sad because, you know, you're not going to see them the same way again.
Oo nga. Medyo makabagbag damdamin. And lastly, Ms. Satti, can you share your top 3 tips for aspiring filmmakers to keep in mind about when conveying their message, especially about the different levels of film literacy? Kasi syempre, hindi naman lahat ng tao are that literate when it comes to film. Go ahead.
So my top 3 tips are actually a tuhog, no? So whether you're studying film or not studying film, basta you're a living, breathing human being, you should be able to understand this. So first is, the language of film is not just visual. That's the mistake that everybody makes. The most important thing about film is the feeling. What does the audience feel after they've seen it, they've heard it? It's the experience. So focus on the experience of the audience. Second, know your message. It should have a form, yes. It should have a treatment. But you should have a fluid language with it as well. It should be able to move. Let's say if we change the location, would you still be able to deliver the same message? If we change the actors, would you still be able to deliver the same message? These are elements in the story that can move your story forward. Yeah. But the most important is how much do you know of your message? So that's my second one. The last and the most important part for me is, this is not about you. Remember what JP was talking about, your inner demons. Yeah. When you're making a film, you're delivering a message from you. But once it's out, it's not about you anymore. It's about the audience. And what's important is, do you feel for your audience? And at the end of the day, what action are you actually expecting from them? Find the point of parity in your message. Everyone will be saying a lot of things, but you will need to speak a voice that will make them listen. You can only speak that voice when you feel for them. And what else?
Ganda.
That's it.
That's it. Oh,
Yun lang.
On that note, Miss Satti, thank you so much for sharing your insights in filmmaking, and please stay. Meron pa tayong ending for after this. And last but definitely not the least, before we call our final guest, let's all watch this.
Mission accomplished. Kita nyo naman, no? Sobrang gulo. Ha? Pasok ako dito sa storage. And awa ng Diyos. Buhay pa siya. Ay, nako. This is my first camera. Ito ang unang-unang camera ko, mga kapatid. Thank you. Dito ka pa.
When you talk about passion, isa lang yung tao na naiisip ko na into the same passion na, especially kung ako sa photography, ito yung nakikita ko na talagang into the passion of creativity when it comes to video. Hold on, let me just pull him into screen. Yan. Ryan Audencial is a segment producer for TV5 as well as a creative director for Cuatro Indios Productions. He also has a YouTube channel and a community called Raska, or Ryan Audencial School of Creative Aspirants, na I believe they're watching with us tonight, where he shares tips for aspiring filmmakers. Ryan has been in the industry for 10 years. He says he loves doing content creation because it practices his skills for self-improvement. He loves it when people appreciate the individuals behind the videos that they watch. Yan. And again, ito na. Ryan, kamusta? Direk Ryan, welcome back.
Ako na pala, sorry. Franz, may tanong lang ako, ano?
Go ahead.
Sure ka ba na nandito ako?
Oo naman. Oo naman.
Parang after ni JP tsaka ni Miss Satti, parang ang sarap na lang makinig sa kanilang dalawa.
Naman.
Salamat po sa napakagandang mga salita, ano? At sabi ko nga kanina, young blood din ako pagdating sa ganito. But I'll see what I can do.
Hindi, tsaka you in terms of the young, like what you mentioned, the young blood, kasi you see it in person, nakikita mo siya na maybe you can share with us those thoughts tonight. And just to jump off dito sa mga questions natin, in terms of Ryan, diretsuhin ko na, in terms of content creation, how big of a role does the audience play in terms of choosing kung anong yung content na kailangan mong gawin?
Napakalaking role ng ginagawa ng mga audiences, no. Especially you are in the public domain. Siyempre, lahat ng kilos mo. Ano kasi ako no, sabi nga ng iba, vlogger daw ako, pero I don't see myself as a vlogger, though nagvo-vlog na ako dahil nga sinabi nila, no. Napakalaking role ng audience, no, pagdating sa kung anong ilalabas mo next na upload mo ng video, no. Kasi kung hindi ka makikinig sa kanila, sadly hindi ka nila papanoorin. Di ba? Well, kasi nahilig naman na kasi ang tao sa gano'n, na yung mga palabas dati sa TV, inaabangan mo yan every week Pero as the day goes by, no, as the years pass by, no, nagiging on demand na lang yung mga bagay-bagay. No? You watch these films sa pinaka-komportableng oras na pwede ka. Di ba? So, ako nasa TV rin kasi ako, kaya naiintindihan ko na rin at the same time na hindi ko yan mapapanood kasi may ginagawa kong iba.
Right.
No?
Kaya ang mas gusto ko manood sa cellphone ko at sa may sarili akong oras, doon ko siya pa. Ibig ko lang sabihin here is ganun na yung audience ngayon, no? Madalas dumidepende na sa likings nila. Well, ganun naman na dati. But it's really important for you to listen to them kasi they are half of the reason why you're there. No, kung bakit nandyan ka at pinapanood. No, kasi sila yung sumusuporta sa iyo, and at the same time sa kanila ka rin dapat kumukuha ng idea kung ito pala gusto nila. Ito pala yung gusto. Yan. Like ako, nagbabanda din ako. Hindi ako bibigyan ng tip ng customer ng bar kung hindi ko i-accept yung request nila na sinulat nila sa tissue. Tama ba ako? So parang sa content creation, napakahalaga din na nakikinig ka sa kanila. Kasi it's their part, no, na it's their way of helping you din to grow. Kasi napakahalaga nung voice ng mga audience mo when it comes to your next content. So ayun, ang laki ng role nila, no, pagdating sa ganun.
Very well said. And ito, nag-comment si Direct JP, sabi niya, young blood din daw siya.
Oy, naman Direct. Oo naman. Lahat tayo dito young bloods.
Tapos, ito si Sir Ted Claudio, nanonood siya ngayon, very modest daw.
Ay, Sir Ted, hello po. Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Raskans, magandang gabi po. Yung mga Raskans po ay mga, kung may Sharonians, may Vilmanians, may Raskans din po. No? Baka hindi lang niyo po alam. Then, hello po mga Raska. Viva la Raska.
And ito Ray, the second question, the rise of social media, especially in content creation, ito nga yung pinag-usapan natin, for video, has been seen as a new market for emerging artists. At the same time, ito rin kasi yung nakikita nila na, kumbaga ngayon kasi nagiging parang way of revenue rin siya para sa mga tao ngayon, lalo na naka-lockdown.
Right.
And habang lumalaki yung market, yung content will have to depend on the type of work and style no ginagawa ng creator. Can you share some ideas on how to get more people to probably watch your content?
Ideas on how to get more people to watch your content? Siguro sabay ka sa trend, no? Kasi as for me, no, though hindi ako nag-aral ng filmmaking talaga sa isang eskwelahan, no? Although I'm a mass communication major in broadcast graduate. Yeah, may mga tinuro sa akin pagdating sa tayo magka-classmate tayo, no ba? Tinuro sa atin paano humawak ng camera, 'di ba? Pero most of the skills I have right now is galing sa experience, and napakalaking part din ng YouTube, no? I can say na I am one of the students of YouTube University, kumbaga, no? Parang ganun. Since nasabi ko na yun, tambay nga ako sa YouTube kasi. So I know the trends pagdating sa filmmaking, and ito nga mga aspiring filmmakers ngayon, syempre mas kakapit sila sa mas cool, mas trend. I'm not saying na hindi po cool ang mga narrative films or kung ano pong mga pelikula na nasa ating mga sinihan ngayon, ano. Pero since ito po ang uso ngayon sa ating social media, no, yung mga kung ano-anong transitions, fancy kung ano-anong color grading na hindi mo na maintindihan. Well, I'm not saying na mali yun or masama yun. It's part of creativity. So yeah, siguro ayun lang, no, pinahaba ko lang para medyo konting ko, more relevant ako dito sa show mo ngayong gabi. Can you share some ideas? Di ko pa pala nasasagot yung tanong, ano. Yun nga, no, kailangan mo lang sigurong makisabay sa trend, no, para at the same time ma-appreciate ka nila lalo kasi ito may bagong video si sabihin natin si Ben TK, yung mga fancy filmmakers na ganyan, no? Marami kasing nauusong ganon, so dapat ka ring sumabay sa agos ng panahon siguro, no? So and of course pagdating naman sa pag-execute, no, syempre ako eto napakadaldal ko, no? Nilalagyan ko ng humor, 'di ba? Kasi everybody loves laughing or sino bang ayaw ng maging masaya, no? I keep my videos siguro for most of you, no, na-entertain naman siguro kayo, 'di ba?
Oo naman.
Kaya siguro make your videos entertaining, and of course maging ka rin, mag-interact ka rin sa kanila, no, sa mga viewers mo. Ako aminado ko na sabi nila dumami lang daw yung subscribers ko, hindi na ako nagre-reply sa Messenger. Pero pag may times naman ako, times with S yun, pag may time naman ako, I make sure na nakikipag-interact ako sa kanila. No, that's part of you being someone na pinapanood nila. Kasi you're ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat yung maging kaibigan mo din sila, 'di ba? Susuportahan ka nila, suportahan mo rin sila. Yung mga ganun, interaction, 'di ba? So parang suki sa palengke, 'di ba? Para ka bumili ng paninda, kailangan mo ring kaibiganin yung mga customer mo or yung mga nagtitinda. Diba parang ganun? So ayun. Ganun. You have to interact with them then.
And
at the
ito
same
nga,
time.
Right, in terms of kasi 'di ba, ito nga we're talking about yung mga content na iba-ibang klaseng videos na lumalabas sa YouTube. Minsan yung unnecessary video, yung hindi ganun kagandang video, yun pa yung pumapatok, yun yung maraming hits. Gaano ka importante, ikaw speaking as a content creator, gaano ka importante ba yung quality ng content in terms of how beautiful it was shot, 'di ba? In terms of consumption, hindi naman kailangan, 'di ba, ng high-end na equipment to just produce this.
Yeah, in filmmaking, for me story is king. 'Di ba? Yun talagang pinakamahalaga regardless kung ano pang gamit mong mamahaling mga cameras. Pero mapunta tayo dun sa mga unnecessary videos, no? Yes, nagkalat sila. But maybe for you and for me, maybe unnecessary sila. Pero may mga videos din na ganyan na nakakapagpasaya din ng iba. No? Di naman natin pwedeng sabihin na hindi tayo natutuwa. Lahat hindi na natutuwa. Pwedeng sila natutuwa, tayo hindi. So we cannot really say na it's unnecessary unless syempre illegal, masama, nakakasakit ng tao. Those are the unnecessary videos. Pero kasi ang sabi nila doon, madami daw yung mga basura content, no? Pagka ganun. For me, mahalaga na magandang itsura or yung quality ng videos mo. But the sad reality is maraming mas tumatangkilik dun sa mga scripted pranks at kung ano-ano mang kumakalat na hindi, ewan ko, for me pero ayun nga, like I've said, no, hindi man maganda yung mga gamit ng mga unnecessary videos na yun or mga pranks na yun, siguro naitawid nila yung mensahe kaya sila nagugustuhan, no? Feeling ko ganon. But for me, yeah, ako kasi isa akong technical content creator. I create tutorials. I teach the 180-degree rule, kung ano man yan, no? Mga kung ano-ano mong color grading and stuff. Syempre, for me to be convincing, I need to be the quality of my content should be really pleasing to the eye and para sa mga tenga din, 'di ba? Napakahalaga nun. Siguro yun nga, it depends din kung ano yung content na inilalabas mo. Pero kung siguro, I'm not saying na dinadown ko yung mga vloggers na nagba-vlog lang at walang tinuturo. Siguro hindi ganun ka-importante yung quality ng video sa mga videos nila or quality ng audio sa mga videos nila. But for me, personally, I need the kailangan ko maisemento na magtuturo ako ng ganito So dapat maganda yung itsura ng ng video ko, maganda yung tunog ng audio ko. So yeah. Yun.
Very well said. And yun nga, kumbaga it all boils down to intent and purpose, 'di ba? Ano yung intention mo? Ano yung purpose mo? Ba't mo siya ginagawa?
Yes.
Ayun. And moving on, ito naman, Rai, people online have very short attention span. And as they say, online viewers, you need to make videos that capture their attention. As a
Yes.
filmmaker, ano yung mga elemento na to na pwedeng siguro i-focus ng mga aspiring creators na pwede lang i-try when they do online content?
Ano yung mga elements that aspiring creators can work?
Para ma-attract nila
On
yung mga viewers. Ano yung sa sound ba? Sa kulay ba? Ano yung mga elemento na tingin mo na pwede nilang paglaruan?
Yun nga, natuwa din ako sa sinabi ni Miss Satti kanina na yung mga estudyante niya, they experiment on things na sabi mo sa sarili mo pag napanood mo yan na, oo nga, no? Paano niya nagawa yun, no? In filmmaking kasi, it's really important na baliin mo sometimes yung mga rules, eh. Di ba? And I don't know, no? Correct me if I'm wrong, Franz. Yes, there are rules. Meron tayong rule of thirds, meron tayong kung ano-anong mga rules, no? Pero yung mga leading room, yung mga ganitong framing, may lead room ka dyan, dapat may space dyan, di ba? Yan ang textbook rule dyan. Pero may mga filmmakers na nandito ka nakatingin, pero nandito yung lead room or kung ano mang room yun. Yung mga ganon, it's not, hindi yan masama na i-break sometimes. Pero it captures the attention, eh, kasi you are thinking outside the box.
Right.
No, inaano mo yung norm or yung usual ways. Siguro 'yon, maging experimental ka sa mga atake mo, siguro. And I'm not saying na gawin mo ng mali lahat ng framing mo, no? Pero I'm just saying na maging experimental ka sa mga istorya mo, sa itsura ng pelikula mo. Maybe mali yung framing mo sa first interview ng documentary mo, maliin mo na lahat, 'di ba? Para maging tama, be consistent. Yung mga ganon. Parang ewan ko, feeling ko sabi rin naman ni Direct JP kanina, no, lahat ng story ay nagawa na, no, nakadepende na lang sa kung paano mo babaliin o yung what if mo, yung pinaka execution mo, no. Sana nasagot ko yung tanong, ang dami mo nang sinabi.
Ganda ng mga sinabi ni Ryan, very insightful.
Pero yeah, yun nga, be experimental, no? Pag-eksperimentohan nyo yung mga bagay-bagay like the audio, no? Wag kang mag-focus lang sa background music, maybe play with your sound design, yung mga ganon. Yun, napakalaking effect din nun sa utak ng tao kasi just to capture their attention more. No?
Right.
And yung pagdating naman sa content creation na sobrang hahaba, I am guilty of that, no? Lalo na pag vlogs yung nilalabas ko, mahaba talaga. Why? Kasi bakit ka manonood ng vlogs kung wala kang oras? 'Di ba? Manonood ka ng vlogs, ihigaan mo yan, uupuan mo yan pag may oras ka. So that's why yung mga vlogs ko mahaba. Pero if you are doing technical content like you are teaching something, no, make it as short as possible. Kasi yun nga, attention span ng tao, parang nagiging bata tayo lahat, eh. 'Di ba, mga bata mas mababa ang attention, mas maiksi ang attention na span nila. Parang gano'n na rin kasi ang audience ngayon, no? Ayaw na nila na mahaba. I have all day. Si Captain America lang naman ang kayang gawin yan buong araw, eh. 'Di ba? I can do this all day. Yun ang lagi sinasabi niya. Sorry sa joke na yun. Pinilit lang, pero yeah, yun, make the edit as short as possible siguro, just to keep them glued, no? Okay, sige, 3 minutes lang to. 5 minutes lang to. Okay, sige, magkakape lang ako. Tapos kung magkape, okay na. Yun. Parang ganun lang.
And speaking of ito, yung mga content na nagawa ni Ryan, and again, if you're watching this, don't forget to follow him. Ito yung Instagram niya, at Ryan Audencial on Instagram. Sa YouTube niya, youtube.com/Ryan Audencial, and facebook.com/Ryan Audencial Films. So yan, wag niyong kalimutan. And ito, Ray, let's go to your first video.
Madalas kong sabihin na wala sa gamit yan, nasa gumagamit yan. Oo nga, lagi mong sinasabi yan. Huwag mong lasunin yung mga utak nila. Tahimik ka muna, kausap ko sila, oh. Wala sa gamit yan, nasa gumagamit yan. Yes, it's true. Pero di ba minsan sumasagi pa rin sa isip mo na minsan nasa gamit din yan? Well, ang totoo niyan, para sa akin, depende yan sa sitwasyon. Nadali mo. If beginner ka or aspiring filmmaker ka, dyan nag-a-apply yung wala sa gamit yan, nasa gumagamit yan. Kasi you have to make the most out of the gears na meron ka. Learn the basics and you should be fine. If pro ka naman at kumikita ka na, syempre, kailangan mo ng magagandang gamit para mas ma-improve mo pa yung maganda mo ng output. Dahil pro ka na, you are dealing with clients. Ngayon, hindi lang Facebook friends mo at sa social media ang mga viewers mo. Ngayon, kliyente na rin ang kausap mo. Sila, nanonood na rin sila sa'yo. Pero yun nga, bago ka maging pro, you have to master the basics first. Ngayon, kung napanood mo na yung aking filmmaking basic series at kung feeling mo may mga natutunan ka na out of those videos,
wala akong natutunan.
Siguro it's time for you to step up a little bit and learn the advanced filmmaking stuff. Welcome to Advanced Filmmaking Part 1. Ang bagal mo kasi magsalita. Huwag kang Let's roll the intro. Para mo ang pro. You gotta be shit.
Ayan. So, on that note, balik natin si Direk Ryan. So, Ray, eto, what can you say about...
Naiiya na nga ako sa iisang ako lang. Tapos pinakita mo pa, dalawa kami. Pero thank you, salamat.
Sige, go ahead. Ano masasabi mo dito sa mga ginagawa mo na videos? In terms of...
Hindi ko nga alam bakit ginawa ko yung mga yan eh. Actually, malikot lang talaga ang utak ko. No? Again, siguro everyone can agree with me, no, na kapag nasa ganito kang industriya, yung utak mo ay magpahinga. Ganun kasi talaga. I thought magiging masaya siya pag ginawa ko yan. So, ako, naging masaya naman ako and at the same time naasiwa ako sa sarili ko. But yan, dyan sa video na yan, nagturo ako ng picture profiles, no, ng camera ko, which is yung Sony A7 III. Sorry, Miss Satti, wala akong Red Dragon. But Sony A7 III po ang camera ko. And that is a technical content or technical video. Nagturo ako ng picture profiles dyan, log, and kung ano-ano pang mga picture profiles. And I really love doing those kind of stuff, no? Yung may natututunan sila. And as much as possible, pag gumagawa ko ng content, it may be an inspiring video, maybe wala akong tinurong video pero na-inspire kita sana, or makapagturo man lang ako kahit konting tips man lang, no? Kasi if you are doing content creation, it's your opportunity to tell a story, and might as well tulungan mo na rin yung makakanood, diba? So ayun.
Yan. Ganda. And then let's move on to the next video. Ito kasi si Ryan, hindi lang siya yun nga, like what he mentioned, na nagkatrabaho siya sa TV5 and he works with the sports. So in terms of ito yung na-experience sa mga nasa industriya ngayon.
Okay, it's my second day pupuntang Reliance. Today is Tuesday, October 13. And what a great day. Maganda yung panahon. Let's go do this. I hope my audio is better because right now I'm using the lavalier microphone of the Saramonic QW Mic 9. Hopefully hindi rin umulan buong araw, no? Kasi it's been days, no, weeks actually, na nag-uulan non-stop. Well, hindi naman non-stop na. But napakasaya lang para sa mga nagmumotor, no? At sa mga nagko-commute. And that way, I'll be doing 2 games today. Sobrang traffic. Singit-singit muna tayo. Sa mga gustong malaman kung nakakasingit ba itong Vulcan S650, yes, nakakasingit po ito. Pero syempre, limited pa rin naman talaga. No? Lakasan lang ng loob.
Skip natin sa...
Now, I just wanna comment on those people.
Ito, Ray.
Yan.
Dito sa...
Halftime ko lang ginawa. Hindi naman talaga.
Sa TV5 Reliance yan.
Medyo inaan ko lang yan para... Yan. Sige, Ray, kwento mo na lang.
Yan, dyan sa part na yan, pinapakita ko yung floor directing basics, no? I'm also a floor director kasi sa PBA. So sa part na to, pinapakita ko, pinupunit ko yung mga papel just for makasave ako ng papel sa environment natin at gamitin ko siyang cue cards, no? Diyan ko sinusulat yung mga cue cards ng mga anchors and analysts, no? Diyan ko sinusulat. Of course, hangga't sa maaari, tinuturuan ko rin yung mga kabataan na mag-save ng papers, kahit paano, mga ganon. And tinuturo ko kung ano yung sinusulat ko sa cue cards, kung anong command, anong ginagawa ng floor directors, no, at kung ano yung parte ng TV, no, ng isang sports coverage like the PBA. Tinuturo ko kung sino yan nandiyan. Meron tayong director, meron tayong game producer, meron tayong floor directors, meron tayong mga cameraman, technical directors, and yan tinuturo ko dyan. And dyan sa video na yan ay tinakal ko din yung tinatawag nilang pandemic rates, no, pagdating dito sa ating sa panahon ngayon, dahil yung ating mga creative friends, no, nagsusuffer sila, and medyo mainit na. And si Nick Earnshaw, I believe nakasama yan ni Miss Satti sa Letran. Nagturo din yan si Sir Nick Earnshaw sa Letran noon. Yan po ang isa sa mga mentors ko, no? Ayan, yan yung buhay ko sa TV5 Reliance bilang isang floor director. But sometimes nagdidirect din tayo ng mga documentaries, official cameraman tayo ng Gilas Pilipinas pag Gilas season, no, mga ganon. And yan, bali buong video pinakita ko lang yung day in a life ng isang Ryan Audencial bilang isang media practitioner.
Yan na karamihan
para
naman
din ma-familiarize yung mga bata, no.
Right. Lalo na kakaunti lang talaga yung mga ganito na napapanood natin sa YouTube, na yung talagang i-walk through ka sa ito yung buhay ng nasa TV.
Ng prod crew, parang ganyan.
And eto Ray, pakita naman natin yung mga ilan behind the scenes mo na photos. Dali, pull in lang natin.
May damit naman ako dyan.
Ayan, ito, go ahead.
Ayan, yung nasa left photo ay isa akong director din ng mga Ironman triathlon dito sa Pilipinas, na it's to those who don't know what a triathlon is, it's a sporting event, no? May 3 sport diyan, swim, bike, run. Sa Cuatro Indios po ang kasama ko diyan. Ako po ang creative director, and at the same time I directed that whole sports documentary. Yung hazards na nakasakay ka sa motor while you are holding your camera is really an exhilarating feeling, no? It's really not safe, but I enjoy it a lot, and lalong-lalo na pag napanood mo na yung output. Yung picture naman dyan sa kanan, medyo charing-charing lang yan. Nag-posing lang ako dyan. Sabi ko sa cameraman kong isa, picturean mo ako dito para kunwari nag-handheld ako. Pero yeah, kidding aside, no, it's really fun doing that. Yung nasa kaliwa naman na picture na yan, no, kuha yan sa isang monitor, Atomos Ninja Inferno, kung ano-ano mang yata, no. Shoot yan ng PSL or ng Philippine Super League volleyball dito sa Pilipinas. Kami ang gumagawa rin ng mga TV ads nila ng PSL or ng volleyballs natin dito sa Pilipinas. And umaura lang ako dyan para medyo konting astigin. And yung picture naman dyan sa kanan, ayan po ang ID ko. During, ayan ang isa sa mga hindi ko makakalimutang parte ng buhay ko bilang isang media practitioner. ID ko po yan sa nakatatapos lang na Southeast Asian Games. Ako po ang head of broadcast sa Subic Cluster. Lahat ng sports sa Subic noon, I believe 30 plus na sports yata ang ginanap dyan. Ako po ang nag-spearhead niyan together with Cuatro Indios, of course, and 30 plus din na tao, cameraman, producers, and writers. No, ayan ang isa sa mga highlight ng 20 years of existence ko. Isa po tayong 20 years of existence ba? Tama ba tayo? Tama ba ako doon? Sorry, masyado kong pinabata. Ayan, ID ko po yan doon. So, ayan. Yan ang sobrang proud ako dyan.
And lastly, ito, mga aura.
Ang nasa kaliwang picture na yan ay aura na naman, no? But that, I believe, kinunan yan sa Clark racing track, no? While covering the Vios Cup or the Vios Cup yan 2019, no? I was not the director pero nag-assistant director ako dyan for the whole documentary. And kung makikita nyo, papansin nyo, mahilig ako sa mga light cameras. Maliban sa wala akong pambili ng mabibigat na cameras, dahil nga sports coverage ang tinitira namin, mas madaling kapitan yan dahil nga mobile ka lagi. Yung nasa kanan naman, that's a photo inside the MOA Arena. And hindi yan stolen shot, no? Ano yan, planted yan. Umaura din ako dyan, no? Yung camera ko nilagay ko lang sa Pixie tripod na maliit. And tinimer ko lang and tumingin lang ako sa malayo. But yeah, that's part also of my career, no? Isa rin akong floor director sa mga live coverages dito sa Pilipinas. Yeah.
And lastly siguro, Rai, can you share your top 3 tips para sa mga aspiring content creators?
Top 3 tips, aspiring content creators. Maybe yung top 1 ko is, first tip ko is, make sure you are okay, no? Physically, mentally, emotionally. Kasi ayaw mo naman gumawa ng content na masama ang puso mo o nag-break kayo ng partner mo or kung ano man. Make sure okay ka. You are well rested, may inspiration ka sa puso mo, sa utak mo, no? Kasi I believe kung anong estado mo ngayon at kumuha ka ng something, magre-reflect yan sa output mo. So I suggest you are okay. 'Di ba? 'Yun ang pinakamahalaga. Ang hirap naman magtrabaho kung may dinadala kang problema. Well, sometimes di natin mapipigilan sa ngalan ng pagmamahal sa passion natin na kahit may dinadala tayo, magtatrabaho pa rin tayo dahil may deadlines, but as much as possible make yourself okay, no? Kahit papaano. Ang second tip ko is do it for yourself. If you're planning to be a content creator, do it for yourself, for your self-improvement. Don't do it for anybody else. Don't do it for the views. Don't do it para lang makagather ka ng subscribers. Do it for yourself. Kasi at the end of the day, pag walang nanood sa'yo at ginawa mo yan para sa iba, mafo-frustrate ka lang. If you do it for yourself, wala mang manood sa'yo, pamilya mo lang ang manood sa'yo, hindi ka madudurog. No? Kasi you are just focusing on your self-improvement. No?
Right.
And lastly, while you are doing it, maybe you should have fun. No? Kailangan mong enjoyin yan. Kasi ginusto mo yan, kailangan mong dapat napapasaya ka niyan. No? Kasi kung hindi, bakit mo ginagawa yan? 'Di ba? I believe na para mo gawin, 'di ba nga ang sabi nga nila, you should find a job na parang hindi ka nagtatrabaho. Find a job that you love to do. Parang ganun. Sorry po kung mali po yung words na ginagamit ko, but yun, yung parang hahanap ka ng trabaho na gusto mong gawin na parang hindi ka nagtatrabaho talaga dahil gusto mo yung gawin.
Right.
No, yun ang pinakamahalaga doon. Kailangan masaya ka while you are doing it. Don't do it dahil yun lang uso. Gawin mo yun dahil gusto mo yun. Yun lang.
And on that note, salamat Ryan. Gaganda ng mga insights ni Ryan. And I'm sure ito, yung mga viewers natin, natutuwa sila at saka nagagalak sila sa mga advice ni Ryan.
Salamat, friends, for having me.
We'll read all the questions later. Balik lang natin yung mga guests natin. Hold on.
Sure.
Wait lang. Saan ba yun? Gallery. Yan. So again, still with us tonight, Miss Satti Ombao and Mr. JP Habac and Direct Ryan Audencial are still with us tonight. And we actually have a call tonight.
Wow.
Hello? Can you hear us? Hello?
Sir, hello.
There. Ayun, we have JR Bayo from Olonga po. Tama ba? Olonga po ka?
Yes, sir.
Ayan, sige. Go ahead, JR.
Hello po.
Go ahead.
Actually, my question is about the importance of accurate representation of minority groups in films po. May it be an ethnical minority or sexual minority or other groups, especially when dealing with their plights and personal stories. And how do we achieve accurate representation?
So kumbaga, in terms of ethnicity, tama ba, dito sa Pilipinas?
Ethnicities and other minority groups po, like even the LGBT community.
Ayun. So maybe we can ask that with Direct JP. Hold on. We'll pin you into screen. There. And go ahead.
Sorry, nagda-drop yung audio ko because of the Wi-Fi. Pwede pa ulit lang ng question. Sorry.
Ayun, the question is, in terms of, yun nga yung mga plights, in terms of social issues, paano siya mata-translate into film? Lalo na yung sa sitwasyon ngayon.
Okay. I think malaking issue sa films, mostly ang representation. Whether it be, sa iba't ibang communities.
Yeah.
Kailangan tama yung para maging tama yung representation ng stories ng mga indigenous tribes, ng kahit na anong communities. Kailangan meron tayong proper research of their struggles, of their stories, para tama yung ma-portray natin on screen. Para maging tama yung portrayal din, kailangan natin pumunta sa mga lugar na to at tanungin natin from them mismo kung ano ba yung kailangan nila at ano yung saan sila nagsa-struggle, ano yung gusto nilang message na gustong iparating sa mga tao, ano yung story nila. So kailangan tayo as storytellers, meron tayong responsibility to find the truth through their stories.
JR, okay ka ba dyan? JR, are you still there? Hello? Yan. Anyway, yun.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Medyo nag-drop yung call.
Hindi ko po kasi nadidinig yung guests sa dito sa Viber, tapos medyo delayed sa stream.
Medyo delayed nga.
Yes,
maybe we can ask the question with Miss Satti. Then go ahead, Miss Satti.
Hello, hi JR. Napaka-interesting naman ang question mo. Just like what JP said, well, first, for you to represent them is you have to immerse with them. Just like what I said earlier, when it comes to your audience, you have to be more empathic. You have to know how they are. You can't just tell their story by just looking from afar. Because if you are looking from afar and you're just pointing a camera at them, you'll give a different story. You have to immerse. Yun lang naman sa akin. Very simple.
Okay. And lastly, kay Direk Ryan, baka you have an opinion on this. Go ahead.
Yun nga, no? Actually, parang naunahan lang ako ni Miss Satti, parang ganun din gusto ko sabihin. Ibahin ko na lang yung phrase, no?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Pero yeah, ako ay isang documentarista rin, no? Sabi nga nila in filmmaking or in documentary films, no, you have to immerse yourself to the story, no. Kailangan mong makiisa doon sa istorya mo kasi kung hindi mo gagawin 'yon, teka na to. Kung hindi mo gagawin 'yon, parang nag-feature ka lang ng something, parang magazine show ka lang or something, no. If you are documenting something or if you want to be a voice, no, at mag-interpret ka ng ganun, you have to immerse yourself, no, be one with the story, and it doesn't necessarily mean na kailangan ka rin makita sa camera or what, but you have to know you have to see everything and to know everything, para mo maintindihan at para ka rin maintindihan.
Ayun, okay. And JR, okay ka ba doon? Are you good with the questions? With the answers?
Yes po, sir. Thank you po.
Thanks, JR.
Salamat. Thank you, JR.
Ito lang, we have some questions from our viewers. Ito kanina pa to. Pero basahin ko na lang. From Jasper Garcia, ask ko lang kay Kuya Ryan, ano po pwede maibahagi nyo po sa mga tao na gustong maging filmmaker katulad nyo pero walang alam sa filmmaking and walang sapat na pera para maabot ito, pangarap na to katulad ko. Pangarap niya maging filmmaker pero he doesn't have the means siguro.
Ako, ang masasabi ko sa'yo, subscribe ka sa channel ko. And then, watch videos, no, on YouTube, no? Kasi hindi lang naman ako, marami rin tayong mga kaibigan na Pinoy na gumagawa rin ng ganito, no? And of course, sabi ko nga din sa Raskans, no, for you to be a filmmaker, kung wala ka mang gamit sa ngayon, you have to watch films for you to appreciate na yung craft na gusto mong gawin, no? Kailangan mo intindihin, no, by yourself muna kung paano kaya mag-imagine ka, paano kaya kinunan yung ganung shot, paano i-hype mo yung sarili mo, gets? Kung sa ngayon ay wala ka pang access sa mga ganyan-ganyan, although sobrang lucky nyo na kasi nung mga panahon namin ni Franz, wala pang YouTube masyado. Pero ngayon napakadaming available na na platform para turuan ka. No, pero but then if ikaw lang mag-isa at wala kang access sa mga ganito, i-hype mo yung sarili mo, no? Mag-imagine ka ganito ganyan. I-condition mo na yung sarili mo, no? Para i-embrace mo yung craft na yan, yung art na yan. And then eventually siguro hindi naman ka magkakaroon, hindi siguro naman mag-evolve ka, no? At magiging Charizard ka one day. Siguro bibili ka ng digicam man lang, di ba? Yung something na magro-roll ng video and eventually, I know, galing ako sa digicam, galing ako dun sa camerang pinakita ni Franz kanina, galing ako sa mini DV, galing ako sa Betacam at kung ano-ano pa. But yeah, yun lang may papayo ko, no? And love the art, no? Love films, enjoy films, and you'll get there. You'll get there.
Ayan, sumagot si Jasper, sabi niya, let's roll the intro para mukhang pro.
Yan, let's roll the intro para mukhang pro. Yan po kasi yung catchphrase ko sa channel ko. Vlogger daw kasi ako.
Siguro ito, last na lang, maraming questions para kay Ryan, pero ito, last na lang siguro.
Ba't ang dami yung questions sa akin? Ito, kayo?
Kay Sir Ted, galing kay Sir Ted Claudio, sabi, Sir Ryan, if you are just a freelancer today, anong mga racket ang mga papasukin mo ngayon sa palagay mo that are good opportunities to earn money if you have a camera?
Pagagalitan ako ng Cuatro Indios dito kung marakit ako outside of Cuatro Indios, no? Pero
siguro advice.
Siyempre, although sa isang ganitong sitwasyon, events are really scarce, no? Hindi masyadong marami sila. Meron mga online man lang, ganyan-ganyan. Kung certain ano bang mga racket ang marami certain ang nagla-live stream ngayon, no, na mga corporate may mga corporate accounts. Siguro 'yun ang isa sa pinakamagandang racket ngayon, sir. Although filmmaking is wedding filmmaking is wala rin masyado, no. Yun marami pong nagko-convert into live streams nowadays. Siguro isa 'yon sa pinakamagandang raketin ngayong ganitong panahon, certain. And balita ko kay Franz na naka ATM mini ka, Black Magic switcher ka. So magagamit mo 'yan, sir, sa live streaming.
Hindi maraming live stream si Sir Ted nga eh.
Yeah, and, opo. Ito siguro ko naman 'yan.
Oo. Nakakatawa yung mga live stream ni Sir Ted eh. And ito last siguro singit ko lang from JR, yung tumawag kanina. Sabi niya, Direct JP, pwede raw po ba humingi ng SIG ang UP Cinema Batch 30? Siguro autograph. Humingi sila ng autograph yung Cinema Batch 30.
Oh my God. Okay. Umabot dito.
Nanonood sila.
Kasi sa org namin, yung sa UP Cinema, kahit anong org sa UP, Diliman, kailangan makapagpasign sa mga members tsaka alumni. Tapos malaking points kapag meron kang signature from an alumnus.
Ang lakas.
Ganun pala yun.
Dumaan dito.
Umabot dito.
Nako.
Umabot dito. Picturean mo na lang to. Ito na yun.
Ayan. And lastly na lang, before we let you guys go, wrap-up questions. Looking into the future of filmmaking in the Philippines, how do you see it evolve in the coming years post-pandemic? I believe nasagot na to ni Satti kanina. Maybe you, Direct JP or Direct Ryan can add to that. Yung mga nakikita nyo post-pandemic.
Sige, ako muna. Paano ko nakikita mag-evolve yung filmmaking post-pandemic? I think creatively sa mga stories natin, magiging malaki yung epekto niya sa mga stories na mabubuo sa mga susunod na mga taon na parang may mga nabasa nga ako na yung sa Renaissance era, alam mo yun, parang nung nagkaroon ng bubonic plague, ganyan, nagkaroon ng evolution sa kwento na ipinapakita. And I think with this pandemic, magkakaroon din ng evolution sa mga stories na mabubuo ng mga storytellers natin. Kasi ngayon pa lang like, 'di ba, with the use of Zoom, alam niyo 'yun, sa Zoom, mga Skype, ganyan, mga messenger videos. I mean, through these kinds of methods, nakakabuo sila ng kwento nang hindi sila nalilimitahan lang ng dahil lang sa pandemic. So, marami yung mabubukas na mga idea post-pandemic sa filmmaking. Pero syempre, hindi pa rin mawawala yung traditional na filmmaking dito sa Pilipinas and anywhere outside the Philippines.
Very well said. And then, Ryan, lastly, yung ano? Hold on.
I see a big change, sa pagdating sa post-pandemic pagdating sa filmmaking. Kasi sa dami ng oras na meron ka ngayong pandemya, bakit hindi ka makagawa ng storya? Sa dami ng oras na tinulala mo, siguro naman may time ka mag-isip ng bago, di ba? Sa dami ng oras na, okay, sige, si Ryan Audencial, wala siyang project. Siguro naman may time kang magmuni-muni at sabihin sa sarili mo, okay, pag okay na ang lahat, gagawin ko to. Pag okay ng lahat, mas gagalingan ko pa. Alam mo yun, sa sarili mo na lang, and then syempre sa filmmaking din, I believe, kahit na nahinto kahit papaano itong ating evolution every day. I know pagkatapos nitong pandemyang to, magiging mas naging hungry tayo ngayon Right. Kasi isa tayo sa mga pinakatinamaan talaga So I guess magba-bounce back tayo big time pagtapos ng pandemic stage or itong sitwasyon na to. Yeah, I believe in a big evolution after nito. So yeah, we just have to wait for the vaccine.
Oo nga. And ito, it's now time to promote your works. Maybe we can begin with Direct JP. Again, baka you can baka you can again mention where they can watch your films online and your series. Go ahead.
Ayun, so thank you again for inviting me tonight. Ayun, so please watch Gaya sa Pelikula. It's a web series produced by Globe Studios, created by Juan, directed by yours truly. So we only have one episode left this Friday, November 30th. Friday the 13th yung last episode namin, yung episode 8. 8 p.m. on Globe Studios YouTube channel. Tapos you can also watch I'm Drunk, I Love You on TBA Studios YouTube page for free na rin. And I think next month, lalabas na rin yung first film ko under Black Sheep, yung Sakali Maging Tayo. Sa Netflix yan. So,
wow, sa Netflix.
Please support yan. Tapos, yun, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JP Habac. If you have any questions, ganyan.
Thanks, Direk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Direk. And let's move on to Direk Ryan. Hold on. Let me spotlight you. Yeah. Go Go ahead, Direk.
Abangan nyo na lang po yung sunod kong upload, do walang walang exact date, no? Sana makapag-upload ako ng mga videos susunod. But right now, since everyday ang games ng PBA, hindi ako makaporma. But yeah, I have a YouTube channel, no? Ryan Audencial, youtube.com/Ryan Audencial. I also have a Facebook page, Ryan Audencial Films. I have an Instagram account, of course, at Ryan Audencial. Actually, pati email address ko, ryanaudencial@gmail.com.
And Ray,
abangan nyo rin yung yung collaboration namin ni Miss Satti at ni Miss JP Habac. Baka trip lang nila kung makaka-collaborate. Alam mo na, Direct JP, baka kailangan mo apprentice, no? Dito lang ako. Abangan nyo po yan. Sana matupad, no? At gusto ko rin pong maka-sit in po sa klase po ni Miss Satti. Pasensya na po kung sobrang daldal ko po. No? I'm just making fun of myself. And para din medyo ma-break yung ice. No? Kasi, alam nyo na, vlogger. Pero yun, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nanood. Raskans, maraming salamat. Sa wife ko nanonood siya kahit maaga pa yung eldest ko bukas. Nagpupuyat siya. No, I love you. Maraming salamat. Makakatulog na tayo. And Franz, thank you for having me. And to my fellow guests, Miss Satti, Miss JP, Sir JP, maraming salamat po at napakarami ko pong natutunan sa inyong dalawa.
Ray, invite mo na rin sila sa Malin ng Raska.
Sali rin kayo sa Ryan Audencial School of Creative Aspirants. Actually, hindi naman siya school, no? It's just a community, no, where you can share your videos, your photos, at lahat ng kahit ano pang nakaka-inspire ka. Sabi ko nga lang dati, kahit if ang carpentry ay nakaka-inspire, i-share nyo na rin dito. Well, yun, sali po kayo sa Raska community sa Facebook. It's really fun there. Sobrang positive. Gaya ng ating Photo Nation na itinayo ng ating kaibigan si
BFFs natin yan. Yun. And Miss Satti, I believe may you have something to promote also.
First, I'd like to thank everyone for having me here. Tawa ko ng tawa sa lahat. Ang dami kong feelings no kay JV. Tapos nung pagdating kay Rai, tawa ko ng tawa. No? So yes, I'll also promote Raska to my students. I think they'll like that. And for me, actually, aside from what... Andito pa ba ako? Or
yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There. Okay, so aside from teaching and studying and tama yung sabi ni JP, mga millennials, hindi kami mapirme. So during the pandemic, we actually started, me and my friends started a small beverage business na it's called Grey Brew. So right now we have coffee. Do follow Grey Brew at Instagram. We are also currently at Mercato High Street. But please follow us on our socials. So we have Facebook and Instagram, Grey Brew. And please watch out. It's not just going to be about coffee pretty soon.
Yan. So again, don't forget to check that out. And hold on.
Franz.
Yes, go ahead.
Meron din nga pala akong merch, no?
Go.
Ryan
Sige, go.
Audencial t-shirt, no?
Sige, go.
Kasi si Miss Satti na gano'n ng business niya.
Sige, go.
Ako na rin. Meron din ako. Nagbibenta rin ako.
Nakita ko nga yung shirt mo. Ganda na. Go ahead.
Ito siya. Marami siyang designs actually. Ayoko lang tumayo kasi naka-boxer shorts ako.
It's very
nice. It's available sa Shopee, no? Ryan Audencial shirts. No, at maraming salamat po.
Huwag niyo kalimutan yan. Ganda ng mga shirts ni Ryan. And lastly, ayan. On that note, thank you everyone. Don't forget to hit subscribe on our YouTube channel, and this will also be on Spotify. Just search for Film Factor Podcast. Bukas na yan, na after lunch. And don't forget to join us next week as we return with Into the Paranormal. Medyo naputol siya nung Halloween. Nag-invite kasi tayo ng mga paranormal experts sa Boston tsaka sa Florida. And ang kakaiba sa kanila, bumabiyahe sila para i-record yung mga multo. So, with meron silang gadgets. So, i-explain nila. They'll explain how the gadgets work for that. And,
get out of here.
Oo. Medyo nung pinakita sa akin yung kinabahan ako eh. Pero yun, naputol kasi nagkaroon tayo ng bagyo. So, we decided to postpone. And yun, thankfully, next week, we'll have them on the podcast. Again, this has been Born in Film on Air. My name is Franz. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for our guests tonight. Salamat.
Thank you. Salamat.
Thank you.
Portraits have always been what's interesting to me.
I'm happy to greet this gathering of motion picture engineers.
Art is photography and sharing. Taking what you see and sharing it with others.
Don't be afraid. Get out there, shoot some film. I think automation can be a catalyst.
Photography